homebody suffocated by her toxic family, accidentally transmigrates into the protagonist of a princess game. She thinks her suffering has finally ended, but discovers she's now a villainess despised by everyone. Her personal servants avoid her at all costs. Her fiancé threatens to bolt once their contract expires. Even the Emperor regrets she didn't stay dead. But she's a veteran player who's beaten this game 10 times over. Watch as she turns this losing hand into a winning trump card. Aiden, the man she's been dying to meet, finally appears. Soyeon clenches her fists in excitement, her eyes blazing with joy. As a veteran who's beaten this game dozens of times, she knows it inside and out. This mobile game that blew up at school, Please Be the Princess, had her completely hooked from the start. The dark-haired male lead stakes everything to claim the throne. Despite the cliché romance plot, it's insanely addictive. Her friend questions why she's still playing this old game, but Soyeon remains obsessed, replaying it endlessly without getting bored. She rambles on excitedly about the game. Her friend bluntly says she prefers games that don't require thinking. Soyeon thinks this is way easier than studying or solving math problems. With the right strategy, reaching the throne is a breeze. She even shared her guides online and earned tons of praise. But no strategy could help her escape her broken home. Soyeon came home listlessly and mumbled a greeting. Her stepfather scolded her, demanding she greet him more respectfully. Soyeon forced down her anger and greeted him again, only to be ordered to cook dinner. She resented it deeply. Jinwoo, this so-called father, she never accepted him. Years ago, her mom suddenly brought him home and forced her to call him father. Shortly after, her mom passed away from lung cancer due to smoking. This so-called father actually played cards with guests at the funeral. After finishing the meal, she got scolded for not stirring it properly. The gleaming rice cooker might be the only warmth in this house. In the game, she strolls through the garden with her fiancé. Their intimacy skyrockets, rewarding her 5,000 coins. So much this time, is the game rewarding her patience? Her alcoholic stepfather only buys booze, never giving her any allowance. She has to sell her friends trendy merchandise just to scrape together enough money. A maintenance notice suddenly pops up, sending Soyeon into a panic. 2 hours without the game, she anxiously runs her fingers through her hair. Her stepfather's yelling suddenly erupts, ordering her to wash the dishes. Soyeon's temper flares as she argues back that she cooked and needs rest. Her stepfather explodes in rage, shouting that she's done nothing to deserve rest. Violent pounding echoes at the door, but it doesn't budge an inch. The only good thing about this place is this sturdy door. Soyeon knows she'll end up washing dishes anyway. What a waste of energy. Fighting back tears, she tells herself not to cry. It's not the first time. She can't help wondering if her stepfather would be better if he didn't drink. Before she knows it, she falls asleep. Soyeon jolts awake and frantically checks the time. Oh no, it's already 11. She hasn't done today's game tasks. Her stomach growls loudly. She decides to change clothes and grab something to eat. On her way out, she finds her stepfather drunk again. She sneaks money from his wallet. At the convenience store, she feels at ease. This is a piece of cake. By the time she finishes checking out, it's already midnight. Panic rises in her chest. How did time fly so fast? She needs to get home now, but her hands are still glued to her phone, focused on the daily check-in task. To save time, she rushes into the crosswalk, ignoring the red light. A blinding light strikes, accompanied by the screech of brakes. Soyeon feels her body go weightless. Her vision lingers on Lucas's wedding in the game. Cherry blossoms fall. Everyone celebrates. This is the ending she's replayed countless times. She'll never see it again. She silently bids farewell to them all. When she opens her eyes again, she hears someone gasp. Princess? Those two words snap her back to reality. The person in front of her is actually Ella, the princess's most trusted servant in the game. Soyeon is completely dumbfounded. Ella frantically shouts for someone to come, shocked that the princess is still alive. Soyeon catches the key detail. Did she die before? She pinches herself and yelps in pain. Her awareness sharpens. Yesterday she was hit by a car crossing the street, and then she woke up here. She's going to live here for the rest of her life. Soyeon's heart soars with joy. She never dreamed she'd be reborn, and reborn in her favorite game, Please Be the Princess. She's now Princess Cecilia de Evenhart. Ella rubs her face in disbelief that Cecilia has come back from the dead. The doctor said her heart had stopped beating. Everyone even put on mourning clothes. The servants whisper among themselves. Maybe it wasn't poison, just something to make her pass out, but she was deathly pale. Someone suggests they wait for the doctor to reveal the truth. Someone sighs quietly, thinking they'd finally be freed from that dark abyss. Soyeon still can't quite believe it. She hesitantly asks Ella to slap her. Ella bursts into tears, asking what crime she's going to pin on her now. Soyeon can't believe she's talking about her. She's utterly confused. She sobs that Cecilia always bullies her, and just yesterday publicly accused her of poisoning, and now she wants her to hit the princess. It's terrifying. Soyeon is completely stunned. Bullying? Poisoning? She's shocked. The kind princess from the game actually bullied Ella? At that moment, a figure rushes in. His face is filled with worry, immediately searching for Cecilia. It's Aiden West, the radiant second male lead who always protects Cecilia. Seeing her favorite character, Soyeon's face flushes. He pulls her tightly into his embrace, like holding a recovered treasure. Soyeon feels breathless in his arms, her heart racing out of control. A moment later, Aiden restrains himself and releases her, awkwardly apologizing for his rudeness. He sternly scolds the servants around her for spreading false news when she's clearly alive. Seeing her deathly pale, he thought she'd never wake up. At this moment, Soyeon finally confirms that Cecilia truly died. Cecilia de Evenhart died from poison, and she, Lee Soyeon, died in a car accident. Without a phone or computer, she has no way of knowing what happened in her old world. Aiden worriedly asks about her condition, sending her into a panic. What should she do? Right, imitate Cecilia from the game. She smiles gently as she remembers and says she's fine, calling Aiden brother. Aiden looks horrified and immediately orders someone to fetch the doctor. The servants quickly respond. He's relieved she's safe and glad they didn't announce her death widely. He tells her to rest well and not be too harsh on those 3 people. Soyeon lowers her head, amazed that this is the real Aiden, and this room. She looks around, taking it all in. None of this is the hell she used to live in. She's truly become Cecilia de Evenhart. But what stage of the game is this? She has no clue. According to the plot, besides Aiden, there are those 3 people, and the most difficult one, her fiancé. A servant carefully suggests she sit and rest. She hurriedly agrees but almost says the wrong thing. Watching servants older than her show such deference makes her feel awkward. Everything felt so natural in the game, and the Cecilia she remembers seems different from the one everyone else knows. The kind Cecilia in the game. Wasn't she a beautiful princess? Why is everyone here avoiding her gaze? Soyeon forces herself to speak, but the servants look terrified the moment she opens her mouth. Everyone acts as if facing a great enemy. Helplessly, she speaks in a way opposite to the princess she remembers. She orders them to bring her tea. Seeing everyone go quiet, she wonders if she said something wrong. She's about to explain, but the servants act like they've been startled and rush off to prepare it. Soyeon feels awkward. Is this okay? The servants can't believe she didn't mess with them. No cockroaches in the tea, no hot tea thrown in their faces. Someone anxiously wonders if she's waiting for an even worse moment, but Soyeon is simply amazed by the tea. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door. Aiden enters, followed by another person. Seeing that person's face, Soyeon feels a bit afraid. She recognizes him immediately. The game's final boss, Emperor Maximilian. To beat him, she battled him countless times in the game. The Emperor mocks that her heart stopped yet she's healthy, with zero concern in his tone. Soyeon sees right through him. He's not genuinely worried about her. In the game, he desperately clung to power yet still earned everyone's love. But to her, he's the villain. She reminds herself to follow the game's plot. She bows respectfully and tells the Emperor, "As you can see, I'm still alive and well." The moment she finishes, silence falls. Everyone looks at her like she's a monster. She panics. Did she do something wrong again? The Emperor suddenly calls out to Cecilia. She nervously responds immediately. The Emperor mocks that crossing death's door has made her more sensible. Soyeon's heart leaps into her throat, but she hears the Emperor tell her to keep it up. He even says she only learned filial piety after taking that poison. He threatens to buy her more, completely ignoring that she just narrowly escaped death. His harsh laughter echoes through the hall. Soyeon feels utterly chilled. His child just came back from death's door, and he makes such a cruel joke. Aiden can't help but speak up, emphasizing that the princess surviving is a joyous occasion. The Emperor asks Aiden when he ever said it wasn't. Aiden forces himself to continue, admitting the princess's usual behavior is improper. But the Emperor's words just now were too much. The Emperor gives a dismissive hum. Then he cheerfully mentions saving funeral costs and leaves laughing. Soyeon curses him as a rude jerk, but Aiden stops her. Aiden comforts her, saying his majesty was in the wrong, and praises her for actually greeting the Emperor properly. Soyeon looks stunned. She was that disrespectful before? Aiden wonders when she let down her guard and started following etiquette. Soyeon doesn't answer, puzzled how the polite princess from the game illustrations is like 2 different people, but the Cecilia in her memory was clearly a kind child. The sense of wrongness suddenly becomes clear, making her heart sink. She recalls the 3 servants watching her face closely, eyes full of wariness, and Aiden worrying her brain is damaged, looking shocked. Everyone is frightened by her politeness. Soyeon can't believe it. A terrible thought surfaces. Could it be Cecilia is actually a villainess feared by everyone? She completely breaks down. This doesn't match the character she knows at all. Aiden worriedly calls out to Cecilia, but she's immersed in despair. Kindness is supposed to be the protagonist's defining trait. That's how you reach the throne. What attracted her initially was the golden-haired princess in the game's cover art, beautiful and intelligent. She loved Cecilia's kind charm and decisive actions. In the end, she became empress because of her kindness and wisdom. But the reality is Cecilia is a villainess. Aiden worriedly asks about her condition. Thinking of Cecilia's past actions, she's determined not to ignore them. Soyeon turns to the servants and solemnly announces she's the reborn Cecilia. From today on, she will treat them well. The servants are terrified, secretly wondering if she's going to kill them and replace them. Soyeon knows that to survive as Cecilia, she must first uncover the truth about her death. Regarding Cecilia's death, the servants are vague about the past, only saying she died from poison. She learns it was a delayed action poison but can't figure out how it was administered. And Cecilia always made servants taste test first. So how did she still get poisoned? Someone says she was poisoned in her bedroom, speculating suicide. Soyeon refuses to believe it, but Cecilia is a villainess. She doesn't really know her, so suicide is possible. She starts suspecting the culprit. The first person that comes to mind is the Emperor. Cecilia is about to become empress. Without this obstacle of poisoning, thinking of the word obstacle, she suddenly remembers someone. The one constantly picking fights to seize the throne, Cecilia's brother. Soyeon ponders how best to expose his crimes. A voice suddenly calls from behind, making making her whole body tremble. She turns around to find her most wanted-to-meet fiancé, Lucas. He's not only Cecilia's fiancé but also the Empire's mage. Lucas calmly says he heard she lost all her memories. He asks if she forgot their contract. Soyeon's mind goes blank. She has no memory of any contract. She recalls the game's plot. They were partners in a political marriage. The kind Cecilia accepted nervously and eventually fell in love with him. Could the contract Lucas mentioned be this political marriage? Seeing she forgot, Lucas sighs and reiterates the contract. He makes it clear he'll only play along until she ascends the throne. Being a princess is 100 times more exhausting than playing mobile games. Games only require tapping. She never worked this hard in school. Real life is truly draining. After the morning walk comes breakfast. Sword theory lessons followed by practice. The schedule is packed tight. Lunch barely ends and Soyeon hasn't recovered when she's reminded it's afternoon tea time. Seeing she doesn't remember, Ella explains afternoon tea happens twice a week, and it's time now. In the game, afternoon tea restores health. Missing it triggers penalties, items disappear, and key plot points are missed. Soyeon secretly vows she absolutely can't let that happen. Fortunately, Cecilia hid her true personality from outsiders, making it easier to pretend. Though Cecilia vented all that pressure on her servants. But thinking of what Lucas said, that he'll only play along until she becomes empress, she feels so regretful. The chance to honeymoon with Lucas is gone, but she quickly rallies. She's Lee Soyeon, who beat Please Be the Princess. She can't give up. Ella introduces today's afternoon tea at one of the royal tea gardens, Aurora's Twilight Garden. Soyeon asks Ella who her close lady friends are. Ella is surprised she forgot this too, then answers it's Lady Isabella Montfort. They often chat together, and Cecilia even personally visited House of Montfort, and was very kind to them. Soyeon muses that they must be close, but close enough to reveal her true nature. In the dressing room, a maid recommends a pink dress, asking if she likes it. She thinks it's better to choose something matching Aurora's Twilight Garden's atmosphere. Hearing this, Ella suggests a green dress. Watching the unusually quiet Cecilia, she feels uneasy and frightened inside. While changing, a hairpin falls. Soyeon picks it up and casually asks if it suits her. She puts the hairpin in her hair, awaiting their response. All the maids around turn deathly pale, not daring to respond. The air freezes. Ella quickly intervenes, saying the hairpin suits her perfectly. Soyeon feels awkward. She was just asking casually. She doesn't want to always ask Ella. She wants to hear others' opinions too. Ella helplessly explains that servants in charge of royal clothing and food cannot speak. To prevent them from revealing royal secrets, their tongues were cut out. The current king, Maximilian, upholds ancestral law. Soyeon's worldview is violently shaken. She can't believe such human rights violations exist. She recalls Ella and Felix managing the bedroom. Were they just lucky not to have their tongues cut? They're so close they could be silenced at any moment. But secrets can't be kept this way. Just like her stepfather once let slip in a dream that her mother ran away secretly. There's no need to go as far as cutting tongues. Soyeon secretly resolves to make these people understand this is wrong. She'll use her own methods to slowly change this country. She's determined to overthrow Maximilian and become the most excellent and benevolent ruler. Before she can think more, Ella reminds her it's afternoon tea time. Upon arriving at the garden, she sees a familiar figure approaching. Isabella greets her warmly, saying it's been so long and she's been looking forward to seeing her. Soyeon panics inside, forcing herself to respond vaguely. She asks what they're talking about. Isabella and the other ladies discuss new fabrics arriving at the palace, praising their excellent quality. Soyeon is incredibly nervous, constantly telling herself to read the room if she doesn't understand. Just get through it. But after chatting for a while, Soyeon still hasn't figured out Isabella's true nature. Just as the atmosphere seems pleasant, Isabella suddenly suggests talking privately. Soyeon is scared out of her wits. She can't leave Ella. Before she can refuse, she's pulled away. She's filled with dread. If Isabella discovers she's not the real Cecilia, it's over. Isabella says seriously that she has something important to say. She wonders what Isabella will say. Fabrics, magic, or something else? Isabella turns around with a mysterious smile. Cecilia, I know your true face, Isabella says mysteriously. That her true face is... Soyeon tenses up instantly, waiting for her next words. But Isabella unexpectedly changes course, playfully scolding her for being a villain who delivers birthday gifts late. She teasingly asks if she was scared, emphasizing again that she almost forgot her birthday gift. Still shaken, Soyeon complains that the joke was neither funny nor touching. Isabella teases that she's so serious. They've been doing this since they were 18, though less so as adults. She leans in close, complaining she's missed her. Soyeon guiltily explains she was too busy and forgot. She's now certain Isabella is Cecilia's trustworthy friend. Isabella pretends to be upset she's too busy, but seeing she prepared a gift, generously forgives her. Soyeon observes quietly, and notices Isabella doesn't bully staff like Cecilia did. A young lady nervously approaches, stammering as she speaks to the princess. She respectfully explains this is precious tea house Diana acquired from foreign merchants, and wants to offer it to her. Soyeon's eyes light up with anticipation, but after tasting it, she's slightly disappointed. The so-called precious tea is just mint tea. She quickly adjusts her expression, politely praises its great taste, and thanks Diana. The other ladies tease Diana for looking so happy after being praised. Diana shyly denies it, but they persist, teasing that Diana is the princess's #1 fan. Soyeon is shocked inside. She's actually Cecilia's fan. They gossip privately, complaining Prince Victor's fans lack manners, while the princess's fans are all shy, sweet girls. Someone adds that last month the palace received so many flower bouquets they couldn't close the gates. Prince Victor is equally popular. Last month he received so many flowers they nearly thought they were being bombed. Soyeon silently analyzes. Victor, Cecilia's brother. He's not only handsome but manages his image thoroughly. It'd be strange if he didn't have fans. But Soyeon knows this is just a carefully crafted facade. Only she and the original Cecilia know his dark nature. She'll never treat people as deceitfully as Victor does. Soyeon sincerely tells Diana she feels guilty for not doing more for her. Diana is flattered. She states it's only right to treat those who care about her sincerely, and promises to bring Diana a gift next time. Soyeon's fighting spirit ignites. She's convinced sincerity will win hearts and help her claim the throne. Fired up, she asks about the next task. Ella tells her it's going to the study. To make up for discussion time, study hours were extended. Ella points the way, asking her to head to the study. Hearing study, Soyeon's eyes light up. She considerately tells Ella and Aiden, who've been busy all day, to rest. In reality, she's thrilled inside. This is the massive library from the game. She gapes at the enormous library before her, somewhat awestruck. Soyeon suddenly recalls staying up late researching for in-game exams. Her friend complained that if she studied this hard in real life, she'd have gotten into a top university. Meanwhile, Victor learns Cecilia is alive and scoffs that she's full of energy despite being poisoned. He can't help thinking the deadly poison should have seriously damaged her body. Victor's eyes darken. This sister is definitely a monster. His subordinate reassures him the poisoning incident has quietly concluded, but Victor doesn't think so. He asks if anyone suspects him. His subordinate reports truthfully there are no rumors in the palace, nor any suspicions. Victor smiles faintly, dismissing his subordinate and acknowledging his hard work. The subordinate freezes for a second. He bows respectfully and exits, leaving Victor alone to ponder. Victor's expression darkens. He states the assassination plan was too foolish, which is why it failed. If he had planned it, it would have been far more thorough. He won't give her another chance to come back. Victor grits his teeth in hatred, secretly resolving to eliminate Cecilia completely. He scoffs. The method was wrong from the start. Poisoning is too obvious and leaves evidence. Now that the poisoning failed, he must delay further action. He recalls Cecilia once provoked him with a political marriage, which could double the nobles supporting her. She's ambitious, believing everyone will become her allies, which is most disadvantageous to Victor. Victor steals his resolve. He must appear even more perfect. He believes in a cruel truth. Kind people rarely live long. Even his biological father and sister might want to kill him. The palace is a battlefield of life and death. He'll pay any price to survive. Victor makes a vow. Even if he must use any means necessary, he'll claim the throne. Ella hands her a detailed palace map and schedule, worriedly reminding her the palace is enormous. Soyeon just smiles. She's already memorized it overnight, though it took considerable effort. She secretly resolves to figure out what contract Lucas and Cecilia made. This play only lasts until you become Empress. Lucas's words still linger in her ears. To ascend smoothly besides her current allies, she must secure more support. But Lucas's stance remains unclear. She must confirm whether he's friend or foe. But before finding Lucas, she must first pull Aiden into her camp. Aiden West, as her guard knight, practically follows her 24 hours a day. This was his loyalty setting in the game, and it remains. Seeing Cecilia appear, Aiden looks surprised. He awkwardly asks why she suddenly appeared at the training grounds. Soyeon looks at Aiden, feeling a bit shy. She suddenly remembers her purpose. She asks him to pause sword practice, saying she has something to tell him. Hearing her call him brother, Aiden shivers. Soyeon feels awkward. Is it that scary? He suggests it's inconvenient to talk standing, and they should sit and discuss. Soyeon immediately sits down. So quickly it surprises him. She asks if it's safe here. Aiden informs her he set up a barrier. Unauthorized people will trigger an alarm. Aiden muses she seems to have completely lost her memory. Soyeon quickly clarifies she just forgot some details. When Aiden asks what she remembers, she stammers about having a father, a brother, a fiancé, and good friends at afternoon tea. After speaking, she quickly changes the subject, saying she has something to say and doesn't want to beat around the bush. She directly asks Aiden if he'll help her unconditionally no matter what she does. Aiden responds without hesitation. Though he's only been a guard for 3 years, his loyalty has never wavered. Hearing this, she immediately strikes while the iron's hot, earnestly asking Aiden to help her become Empress. She solemnly promises she'll be the kindest Empress in the world. Aiden looks surprised. Did the princess gain new resolve after walking back from death's door? Seeing this, she urgently emphasizes she's serious and swears she's changed her villainous nature. Aiden mulls over her words. Soyeon can't help complaining she's that untrustworthy. He hesitates before speaking. Over the past 5 years, you've always said you'd become kind, that you'd change completely. Soyeon nervously asks what happened after. Aiden recalls she only lasted 2 weeks after her last promise before continuing to put lizards in staff tea. And because she was unhappy with her hairstyle, she cut off a hairstylist's fingers. And there was a maid who helped with her eyebrows. Soyeon's scalp tingles as she listens. She hastily interrupts, repeatedly saying she understands. Aiden says he tried to stop her many times, but she was consistent. Soyeon's face flushes as she emphasizes she truly won't do that again. She pleads with Aiden in a beseeching tone to feel her sincerity. She's already changed. No more lizards, no more hurting people. She solemnly states she'll treat people sincerely from now on, and hopes Aiden will continue to believe in her. Aiden can't control his racing heart and quickly agrees. He just doesn't know how to help her. Soyeon is overjoyed to hear this, thanking him repeatedly and promising she'll never forget his kindness. She urges him to always stay by her side and support her. Aiden's heart won't stop racing. He shyly agrees. After securing Aiden, she immediately turns her attention to her fiancé Lucas. Unlike the athletic Aiden, Lucas is always focused on experiments in his lab. Lucas says sarcastically he didn't expect the princess to visit this humble place. She laughs awkwardly to smooth things over, saying it's not too late to be interested in his lab now. She complains inwardly that Cecilia and Lucas get along far worse than in the game. She awkwardly makes conversation, surprised Lucas's hair is even longer than hers. Lucas just hums in response. The atmosphere becomes awkward. She continues asking when Lucas started growing his hair long. Lucas says flatly he hasn't cut it since birth. He was nearly assassinated by a hairstylist as a child and hasn't cut it since. Then he urges her to leave. Soyeon is thrilled, frantically complaining about the developers for not mentioning such precious backstory in the game. She deeply regrets not recording this conversation. She'd love to listen to it 30 times every night. At that moment, the potion in Lucas's hand drops, and a creature suddenly bursts out. Soyeon freezes in terror, asking in shock what that is. The unknown beast makes her mind go blank. She has no idea what to do. Seeing this, Lucas urgently shouts for her to get away, urging her to hide in the corner. Soyeon knows she must move immediately, but fear makes her feet feel like lead, unable to move. Seeing this, Lucas immediately activates magic and instantly restrains the beast. He quickly steps forward, embracing her protectively, and gently explains it's a shadowing beast. It spits vampire bats, but isn't dangerous. He adds it was just startled by sudden noise, and he's temporarily restrained it. Lucas apologizes guiltily, blaming himself for carelessly not locking the cage properly. Still shaken, Soyeon's cheeks flush as she quickly says it's fine. Lucas looks down at her, softly saying he's glad she's not hurt. After releasing her, Lucas asks coldly what she actually came to see him about. Soyeon snaps back to reality, remembering she had something to tell him. She gathers courage and says frankly she urgently needs her fiancé's strong support. The moment the words leave her mouth, she regrets them, cursing herself for sounding so foolish. Lucas's lack of response makes Soyeon anxious. However dense he is, he shouldn't be this cold to Princess Cecilia. She hastily adds that they have a contract, and getting along doesn't violate it. She guarantees that as long as Lucas helps, she won't let him suffer any loss. Lucas falls silent for a moment before agreeing, believing Cecilia must also hate being described as a rabbit. A hunted rabbit is a palace metaphor, implying someone who only flees in power struggles, cowardly, like a rabbit. Soyeon thinks to herself that both she and Cecilia are not rabbits, but humans. Lucas says politely that since it's the princess's order, he must obey. Soyeon is secretly pleased. Lucas has magic and alchemy, and his family can be elevated to count through marriage. Perfect. Leaving the lab, she encourages herself. She just needs to slowly get closer to Lucas. After that, Soyeon runs herself ragged, juggling complex affairs while investigating the poisoning culprit. Fortunately, she finally has a lead. She confirms the poison was deadly shadow viper venom, which can be used in alchemy. This venom is precious and hard to obtain. Soyeon wonders where the culprit got it. At this time, the Eldoria Empire is in summer, and the most anticipated event is the palace's upcoming 5-day Starlight Festival. Nobles release giant sky lanterns together, as if sending stars into the night sky. There are also 4 consecutive days of fireworks displays, personally designed by nobles. Designing fireworks and lantern patterns is a core task in Please Be the Princess. If the design scores high, you can unlock exclusive illustrations of alone time with Lucas. If the score is low, it triggers a storyline with Aiden. She's wailed many times, praying Aiden won't appear this time, because once Aiden appears, she has to replay the entire storyline. She immediately calls for Ella and asks her to bring her previous fireworks designs. Ella hurriedly complies and returns with a huge stack. Soyeon apologizes, somewhat embarrassed. It turns out alchemists submit over 30 designs every year. The rejected ones are stored in albums, and so many have accumulated. Apparently, popular lantern designs immediately become palace trends. Soyeon is determined to banish the tacky patterns in the palace. She ponders over the designs, wanting to hear others' opinions. Ella suggests consulting alchemists. Fireworks and lanterns must first be discussed with alchemists. Then they create them, and after rehearsals go smoothly, they debut. The more Soyeon thinks about it, the more excited she gets. Her mind is full of designs blooming across the night sky. The servants gossip privately. They feel Soyeon is like a different person. She used to always complain the Starlight Festival was troublesome, but now she's so enthusiastic. What's even more surprising is she hasn't killed anyone or thrown stones at staff. Felix even deliberately gave her failed cookies, and she ate them with genuine enjoyment. Everyone is shocked, also wondering how Felix's neck is still intact. Has she really changed? But someone questions how a person could suddenly change like that. especially the princess. At that moment, Soyeon suddenly announces loudly, she's going out with Aiden and will be back soon. The servants hurriedly respond. Soyeon apologizes embarrassed for being 10 minutes late. Aiden is surprised, saying that's not long, but she counters that 10 minutes is quite long and pulls Aiden along quickly. Aiden mutters inwardly that the old her wouldn't care about being late. The more he thinks, the stranger it seems. Aiden can't help asking if she's going to see that witch who lives in the forest. Soyeon nods with a smile. She says that witch has excellent taste and can help her, but Aiden looks troubled, saying he feels uncomfortable being around that witch. Soyeon laughs heartily and says she understands. She'll have him wait outside. While they talk, they arrive at a remote wilderness forest near the palace where an immortal witch lives. Soyeon walks forward and knocks on the door. The witch Vivian immediately rushes over, shouting excitedly. She says it's been so long, but she's actually only thinking about Aiden who came along. Vivian has an intense obsession with Aiden, asking Cecilia for him every time they meet. Soyeon is helpless. Aiden isn't an item. How can she just give him away? Vivian brings out freshly baked cookies, saying she specially prepared them knowing Aiden was coming. She curiously asks why Aiden didn't come in together. Soyeon quickly changes the subject, saying she came today for the Starlight Festival designs. Don't be fooled by the witch's childlike appearance. She's actually 3,000 years old. Vivian suddenly stares at Soyeon intently, making her feel uneasy. The next second, Vivian patiently urges her to take out the designs. Soyeon touches her face in confusion, not understanding her behavior. Vivian pats her chest in assurance that she'll create the most spectacular fireworks for her. Meanwhile, Aiden waits outside. When Vivian hands over the designs, Soyeon's eyes go wide. The lantern and fireworks patterns are stunningly beautiful. She can't help exclaiming how gorgeous they are. Vivian is a bit confused, uncertain if this is a compliment. Soyeon is completely absorbed in the beauty of the patterns, her mind full of how they'll look. She immediately arranges for production, requesting the lanterns faithfully recreate the design, blooming floral totems paired with the Empire's signature purple bird. Vivian barely mentions payment before Soyeon firmly interrupts. Aiden is off limits. The dejected Vivian apparently doesn't want monetary compensation. She just says they'll talk later and heads back. She's full of anticipation, wanting all eyes to be on Cecilia. Aiden sees she seems very satisfied. Soyeon nods vigorously. The finished product is even more beautiful than imagined. She turns to look at Aiden and notices he seems somewhat distracted. Soyeon asks worriedly if he's okay, and Aiden immediately responds that he's fine. Yet he's confused inside. Why? Does he keep feeling his heart race around Cecilia lately? This never happened before. Soyeon suddenly asks about his plans for the day after tomorrow. Aiden answers he's going to the training grounds, having completely forgotten about the festival. She grumbles that he's an idiot, and urges Aiden to put work aside and do something he's always wanted to do during the festival. Aiden looks troubled, saying his job is to protect her, but Soyeon won't take no for an answer, ordering Aiden to rest properly and have fun at the festival. She also tells him to feast to his heart's content and enjoy himself thoroughly on festival day. When she played the game before, this kind of scene appeared as an illustration, but Aiden insists on staying by her side, saying that watching her fireworks is the best rest he could ask for. These words pleased Soyeon, and she can't bring herself to say more. She can only pat her chest confidently and guarantee that her fireworks and sky lanterns will be absolutely perfect and worth looking forward to. The first day of the festival finally arrives. With the emperor busy with affairs, the festival is left to Princess Cecilia and Prince Victor. Soyeon handles equipment procurement and item preparation, while Victor only picks tasks beneficial to himself, focused solely on building connections. With nothing to do, Soyeon can only hide in a corner eavesdropping on noble ladies' gossip. A game illustration suddenly flashes through her mind, failing to become emperor, ultimately marrying into a baron's family. Caring too much about what the noble ladies said, she ended up with a declining fate. Aiden notices her exhaustion and asks if she needs a drink. Soyeon shakes her head in refusal, yet her gaze can't help searching everywhere for Victor, but she never finds him. He suggests changing locations to avoid getting upset from hearing gossip. Just then, the banquet is finally about to officially begin. The emperor announces that Eldoria's 5 consecutive days of festivities are about to begin. He hopes everyone enjoys themselves, with fireworks and sky lanterns adorning the night sky. Soyeon looks up with a shocked expression. She finally finds Victor. She never expected he'd be sitting on the platform alongside the emperor. Soyeon seethes with rage. How is he up there? She immediately grabs Aiden and wants to leave this place. She keeps complaining about that awful jerk, taking all the credit for himself, and that sinister smile just now is utterly infuriating. After just a few steps, she runs into Lucas. She can't help gasping in admiration. Usually dressed in black, today he's in pure white, breathtakingly handsome. Seeing this, Aiden tactfully excuses himself, leaving the two alone. Before Soyeon can react, Aiden is already gone. Only when music starts playing around them does Soyeon belatedly realize festival tradition dictates the princess dances the first dance with her fiancé. She instantly panics. She never danced with boys even in high school. Combined with this cheesy background music, it makes her want to flee on the spot. Lucas looks puzzled, asking why she's crying and if she feels unwell. Hearing this, she considers the possibility of pretending to be sick and slipping away, but ultimately concludes there's no escape. Soyeon's voice trembles with nervousness, as she admits she's nervous and worried about stepping on Lucas's feet. Unexpectedly, Lucas shows a gentle smile after hearing this. Watching him, Soyeon's heart skips a beat. She can hardly believe it. Lucas actually smiled. Lucas extends his hand toward her, and she can't help help marveling at how someone can be this handsome. She can't help complaining about the unfairness of the gods. Lucas's looks are just unfairly perfect. She gazes at Lucas's face with intense focus. Is this the charm of the male lead? Though her dancing is terribly awkward, Lucas skillfully leads her. Following his rhythms, Soyeon gradually finds her groove. Lucas's initially cold expression also gradually melts during the dance. Suddenly she feels a sharp pain from her ankle, and Soyeon cries out instinctively. Seeing this, Aiden urgently calls out Cecilia's name and rushes forward to check. He asks about her condition, and Soyeon responds vaguely while enduring the pain. She can't help complaining that her heels are rubbing badly and hurting terribly. Aiden is relieved she's not sprained, and immediately goes to get comfortable shoes for her. Watching his retreating figure, Soyeon silently chuckles that he's like an obedient puppy. Suddenly remembering Lucas, Soyeon exclaims that she completely forgot about him. She apologizes somewhat guiltily, saying they were enjoying the dance when it suddenly stopped, and when she looks back no one is around. Suddenly she remembers, after the dance should be the fireworks display time. Her perfect fireworks will finally debut. Aiden will take a while to return, so she decides to head to the launch site. She can't miss the fireworks show because of a pair of shoes. At this moment, a noble lady wonders if the weather looks rather bad. The person beside her agrees, saying they haven't heard about rain. Someone exclaims that there seemed to be an eye in the clouds just now. Everyone looks up at that spot in confusion. Just then, a monster suddenly appears, and screams erupt one after another. Soyeon furrows her brow. She seems to have seen this monster before. She struggles to recall which event it's from. Finally, she remembers. This is the monster from Aiden's event, its appearance revolting. According to the plot, after the monster appears, Aiden will rush to save everyone. She remembers the event never has a bad ending. She just needs to quietly wait for Aiden. Suddenly, Isabella's cry for help comes. She shouts in pain that her leg won't move. Soyeon's heart sinks. The scene is crowded and chaotic. People are pushing, and Isabella is in danger. She shouts anxiously, telling Isabella to get up quickly. The monster is right in front of her. She shouts at the people around to save that girl, but no one pays attention. The monster advances step by step. A thought flashes through her mind. Isabella is just a side character in the game. Even if she disappears, it doesn't matter. Soon Soyeon snaps back to herself, cursing inwardly how she could have such a cold-blooded thought. She reminds herself that Cecilia is absolutely not such a cold-blooded person, then decisively kicks off her high heels. Barefoot, she rushes toward Isabella, telling herself that Aiden will definitely come. At the critical moment, Lucas suddenly appears and saves Isabella. Seeing Lucas's figure, Soyeon is utterly confused. How is he here? In the game illustration, Lucas wasn't supposed to appear here. Why is it Lucas saving Isabella and not Aiden? Aiden clearly said he'd bring comfortable shoes right away. According to the plot, Aiden should appear now. She recalls just now. The monster seemed terrified of Lucas's explosive magic. A flash of inspiration strikes. The fireworks show is imminent. The launch tubes should all be loaded with fireworks now. The monster appears before the fireworks show. Perhaps the fireworks can work. Though it's raining, she still holds on to hope. Please let this work. Soyeon aims the cannon tube at the monster and fires. Everyone shouts in surprise, signaling others to look at the tower. They all exclaim that it's the princess, grateful that the princess defeated the monster and saved them. The next second, the monster attacks again, targeting Soyeon directly. Fortunately, Aiden arrives in time and pulls Soyeon into his protective embrace. Seeing the monster attack again, Soyeon worriedly calls out Aiden's name, warning him to be careful. At the crucial moment, Lucas arrives in time and efficiently handles the struggling monster. He tells them to hide well and let him handle this. Seeing this, Aiden decisively picks up his sword and thrusts it into the still struggling monster. Aiden sighs with some regret. He had wanted to take the monster back intact, but Lucas tells him to take it back for investigation. Monsters don't appear without reason. Someone must be controlling it from behind. Soyeon sincerely thanks Lucas for saving herself, Isabella, and Aiden. She genuinely reflects that thanks to Lucas, everyone is safe. But Aiden hands the shoes to Soyeon, apologizing with a guilt-ridden face, saying he has no face to see her. He's very disappointed in himself because he failed to protect Soyeon properly. Soyeon comforts him instead, telling him not to blame himself too much. She's the one who should apologize. She had wanted to let him see the perfect fireworks show, but she ruined everything and caused such a huge disaster. Aiden is instantly moved to tears, and Soyeon quickly coaxes him not to cry. The next moment, the crowd cheers and shouts, "Long live the princess," thanking her for the rescue. Soyeon breathes a sigh of relief. The crisis has ended smoothly. No one is hurt, and she's become popular. It's just that the plot has completely changed. She made Aiden get the shoes, which triggered this change. The more she thinks about it, the more worried she becomes. Will more things change because of her in the future? Ella exaggerates Soyeon's deeds wildly, saying she carried a cannon as big as 2 castles. One shot made the monster vanish without a trace. Aiden sweeping the princess away was also so cool. She'd love to be stabbed by his blade. Hearing this, Soyeon finds it utterly absurd. Though the cannon fired on the first day of the fireworks festival injured the monster, the cleanup relied entirely on her 2 teammates, not herself. It was Aiden and Lucas who dealt with the beast. Although the fireworks show has been ruined, at least there are still the sky lanterns, the main event in collaboration with Vivian. During casual chat, she suddenly realizes she hasn't seen Aiden in a while and asks in confusion. Ella explains that after getting the princess's permission, he immediately went to the training grounds. Aiden deeply blames himself herself for not protecting the princess properly and keeps going back for sword training from time to time. Not only is Aiden busy, but Soyeon and Victor are also rushed off their feet due to the monster incident. Soyeon is surrounded by nobles flattering her, which drives her crazy. What shocks her even more is that Princess Ella grabs her hand. She directly confesses that she wants to marry her. Ella praises her for defeating the beast with a cannon, saying she's always dreamed of being with someone so strong. The maid quickly advises her that she can't propose like this. Proposals require gold, silver, and jewels. Soyeon, who once only wanted to stay holed up, is now suffocated by all sorts of trivial matters. She finally manages to slip away to the garden to clear her mind, wanting to empty her thoughts by the flowing water. But her mind isn't idle. She suspects the culprit who tried to assassinate Cecilia is the mastermind behind the monster incident. The aging emperor and Prince Victor are both the most suspicious candidates. Yet they happen to be Cecilia's closest people. She silently encourages herself. She must use all her knowledge from the game to protect herself. She shouts toward the sky, "I'm Cecilia, and I can definitely do this." Suddenly, a mocking voice comes from behind. "If you're not Cecilia, who else could you be? Being this unguarded makes you easy prey." The two mock each other for grazing like cattle in the garden. Suddenly, a gentle female voice chimes in, saying the siblings' bickering shows their good relationship. Soyeon immediately recognizes her as the 5th princess of the Jiran Empire, Isabella Montford. Soyeon's heart sinks. In the game, she was always planning to betray Cecilia. In the game, she was supposed to appear at Cecilia's wedding. Why is she here now? Victor introduces her according to custom, but Isabella links her arm with his and jokes playfully that given their relationship, there's no need to be formal. Soyeon doesn't understand what she means. The woman teases her. "You still don't know." She introduces herself smugly. "I'm Victor's fiancé." Soyeon shrieks in shock, and Victor tells her disgustedly to stop squealing. Isabella proudly says they'll officially announce their engagement at the Sky Lantern Festival. Soyeon is furious. This is clearly meant to steal the spotlight from her lantern event, and her plan will be ruined. But Lucas suddenly appears, saying the two aren't suited for each other at all. Soyeon is somewhat surprised. She didn't expect Lucas to suddenly appear and come to her rescue. Isabella stamps her feet in anger, accusing Lucas of rudely interrupting. She coos to Victor to chase him away. Lucas calmly retorts, "You're not even engaged yet, so the rude one is you." Victor defends Isabella, saying she'll soon become his fiancé and telling Lucas to show some respect. Isabella immediately moves closer to Victor, touched, watching the chaos before her. Soyeon increasingly feels the plot has deviated from the game's trajectory. Lucas suddenly reaches out and grasps Soyeon's hand beside him. Her face instantly turns red as a ripe tomato. He continues emphasizing, "Regardless, Isabella is not your fiancé at this moment." Then he issues an eviction notice. "This is a place for engaged couples to share affection. Please leave. You're not officially engaged yet. It wouldn't be good if you saw something too stimulating." Victor is furious, gritting his teeth as he calls out Lucas's name, then storms off. Isabella hurries after him, asking him to wait for her. Just as she breathes a sigh of relief, Lucas's serious tone makes her shudder. Lucas sternly warns her not to be so unguarded. This makes her an easy target for fatal danger. Soyeon defends herself, saying Aiden is just temporarily not around and she knows to be careful. But Lucas gets even angrier. "If you know, then be even more careful." He also says that if she forgets their agreement, it'll trouble him greatly. Only if she becomes emperor does their contract have meaning. His help in getting her out of trouble has limits. Lucas's tone takes on impatience. Soyeon quickly promises to be careful, though her heart pounds uncontrollably. She reminds herself to pull it together. She forces herself to calm down and suddenly remembers the important matter, asking Lucas to help investigate Victor. Facing Lucas's objection, she emphasizes they signed a contract and should cooperate before marriage. Lucas hesitates but ultimately agrees to try. Soyeon mutters to herself. Victor isn't even captivated by Cecilia's appearance. She gathers her courage, looks up at Lucas, and invites him to her room later. Will this make the route easier? Soyeon rushes back to her room, clutching her strategy notes full of anticipation. This is the ultimate strategy guide called Please Be the Princess. This is the strategy collection she compiled by draining all her memories and staying up late. Though some parts are unclear, she's fearless. Lucas enters with a disgusted look, complaining that she called him here just to watch a weird physical performance. Soyeon is startled as Lucas suddenly snatches the notebook. He flips through the notebook, in confusion, wondering what on earth she's drawing. Soyeon frantically calls for him to stop. How can Lucas just casually read a lady's notebook? It's too much! Oh no, what he's seeing is the heart-fluttering first meeting event scene. Soyeon is mortified. That was their first meeting as children, rolling on the grassland, that heart-racing moment. Is he staring because he's captivated? Lucas's comment, "Is this a bird?" instantly shatters Soyeon's fantasy. Soyeon grits her teeth in frustration. Snatching back the notebook and correcting him that it's an arm, she flips through the notes, curious. Was the relationship between Lucas and Victor bad in the game? Soyeon turns to ask Lucas. Victor should be their common enemy, which means, before she finishes, Lucas flatly denies it, stating that Victor is only her competitor. Soyeon tries to persuade him, saying cooperation to help her ascend the throne is a win-win situation. Lucas decisively refuses. He doesn't want to interfere, and her proposal violates the contract terms. With that, he sharply asks if she's already forgotten the contract clauses. Seeing her bewildered expression, Lucas helplessly explains there are 3 contract clauses. First, he must do his utmost to help her become emperor. Second, Second, after she ascends, they won't interfere with each other's actions. Third, anyone who obstructs them must be killed with their own hands. Soyeon's eyes widen in utter shock. She actually signed such a terrifying contract. Lucas adds coldly, "You were the one who proposed this initially. I merely agreed with you." He states coldly that if Victor obstructs her, she should deal with him herself. Soyeon is astonished. How can he speak of killing so casually? These are real human lives. In the game, Victor couldn't escape death, but reality has too many variables. Soyeon sighs heavily. Seeing this, Lucas silently criticizes. Her mind has grown increasingly abnormal since the poisoning. She used to be so decisive. Lucas suggests the contract might change later, but Soyeon suddenly interrupts, saying she still has 12 ships. She really can't bring herself to kill, so she can only ask Lucas for help. At this moment, as long as she shows him her sky lanterns, he definitely won't show a disappointed expression. So she smiles and praises Lucas as the perfect fiancé, while Lucas confirms in his mind that she's abnormal. When the sky lanterns arrive, workers handle them carefully, afraid they'll topple over. Soyeon gasps when she sees the lanterns. They're enormous! Vivian proudly introduces it as her and Soyeon's masterpiece of the century. Soyeon is dumbfounded. That's actually her lantern. She's full of worry. Can such a huge lantern really rise? Vivian is confident it can fly, but Soyeon anxiously responds, "Even if it can fly, it has to be able to lift off first." Vivian is immensely proud. She demanded to make the most outstanding sky lantern in the world, then it certainly has to be extremely large. Soyeon doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. This surprise is way too big. Vivian thoughtfully suggests that if she's not satisfied, there are backup lanterns to choose from. The festival officially begins. The emperor gives a speech hoping everyone will forget their troubles and enjoy the day. Soyeon secretly regrets it. She should have just made something small and ordinary. Staff members come to urge that they need to prepare to start. Soyeon quickly responds and rushes to prepare. Everyone gasps in amazement when they see Soyeon's sky lantern. Someone whispers, "Isn't this lantern a bit too big?" But another denies it, saying the visual impact of this lantern is truly stunning. The emperor looks at Soyeon's lantern with disgust on his face. He grumbles about what trick Soyeon is pulling now. The person beside him thinks this lantern will definitely become a hot topic. Seeing her prepared lantern so well received, Soyeon's confidence soars. She prepares to start the next phase of the display. Aiden suddenly calls out to her, and Soyeon runs over excitedly. Soyeon shouts triumphantly about the great success. Aiden responds gently that the lantern looks spectacular even from a distance. Soyeon instinctively lifts her head, asking Aiden to praise her quickly. Aiden watches her with eyes closed, head tilted up waiting. He feels somewhat embarrassed, murmuring her name in shock. The next second, Soyeon suddenly realizes what she's doing, her cheeks instantly flushing bright red. How did she suddenly recreate a game scene? That's so stupid, thinking of the interactions. In the game, she unconsciously acted them out. Soyeon hurriedly makes an excuse, saying she has something to do and must leave first. Aiden softly agrees, his eyes full of confusion and tenderness. Soyeon can't help wailing inwardly. What on earth is she doing? The beautiful sight of sky lanterns soaring together is breathtaking. It completely washes away all her previous embarrassing memories. The hardships during creation now turn sweet. All the effort was worth it. She once thought a single lantern was the ultimate, but now she understands. Multiple lanterns blooming together are even more beautiful. She suddenly gets excited. It is finally about to appear. Someone notices something unusual, wondering why the largest lantern seems a bit strange. The next second, the lantern explodes with a boom. Stardust fragments scattering across the sky cause an uproar. These are exactly the energy items from the game, stardust fragments. Soyeon is proud. Her carefully planned stardust fragment explosion plan executed perfectly. Stardust fragments are small like star candy, yet they're the most precious fuel for common people. For people who don't understand magic or alchemy, they're more valuable than gold. The lantern explosion not only brings a visual feast, but also combines practicality with spiritual fulfillment. Soyeon is filled with pride, reminding herself to maintain composure as praise sounds continuously around her. She thanks them softly, though she's already beaming with joy inside. She's certain that after this event, her popularity will soar, and she's taken a huge step closer to the emperor's throne. But the emperor is extremely displeased, just being a bit polite to her, and she dares to climb over him. She must be eliminated completely. His trusted aide immediately agrees, and so, the Sky Lantern Festival comes to a perfect close. The popularity poll results among teenagers are announced. Cecilia has overtaken Victor. Soyeon giggles excitedly. She's certain Victor must be gritting his teeth right now. It's deeply satisfying. All that's left is probing Victor's intentions, which she's already entrusted to Lucas. She'll just relax and wait for the results. She remarks on the beautiful weather that lifts her spirits. Blue sky and green trees complement each other. A bird suddenly swoops down, startling Soyeon. The raven loudly calls out report. It repeatedly says Lucas has a message to relay to her. It speaks loudly about the content of this contract. Soyeon immediately signals it to be quiet and brings it into her room. She remembers there was a black bird on the game interface. Could this be it? After confirming, she signals it to speak. It clearly states that according to the investigation, Prince Victor's engagement is real and progressing. Soyeon can't believe it, that self-satisfied prince is actually getting engaged. After the report, it says detailed information will be discussed tonight, and to find Raven if there's an emergency. Soyeon has a sudden realization. So this bird's name is Raven. She looks forward to Lucas' arrival tonight, wanting to know more details. Soyeon can't help marveling. Raven speaks so fluently, it's amazing. And Raven's voice is identical to Lucas's, she determines this must be magic. She mentally notes that she must ask Vivian about this later. Lucas's voice suddenly sounds, saying with disgust that she's making trash again. Soyeon retorts indignantly that this is clearly an art piece, but doesn't forget to instruct Ella to prepare tea. Lucas explains they haven't yet determined the fifth princess's stance, but the engagement probably isn't just talk. Soyeon secretly speculates, could Victor be rushing to get engaged because he's wary of her? But she's certain Victor doesn't truly love Isabella Montfort. She must figure out the reason. Lucas adds that Victor plans to cooperate with the Gate family to expand his influence. The capital construction project has also officially started under Victor's command, with frequent activity. Soyeon's head spins. She finds the capital project too complex and sets it aside for now, thanking Lucas. But Lucas says he has one more thing. He wants to modify the contract terms. Soyeon's heart tightens, thinking of the 3 items he mentioned a few days ago. She wants to ask why, but she can think of at least 100 reasons herself. Soyeon hurriedly apologizes, thinking she's asked too much of him and made him unhappy. But Lucas bluntly states he wants the contract changed to prohibit physical contact except in public situations. He says without hiding his distaste that he doesn't want to touch her body at all, except when necessary. Soyeon is thunderstruck. She can't believe he doesn't want to touch her at all. She angrily stands up to demand why, but then suddenly realizes she's too agitated and makes an excuse that this will worry people and the staff will notice. She roars inwardly, what era is this? Doesn't he realize he's the male lead? But Lucas is dead serious, saying it's ridiculous that gossip would affect their relationship, and that excessive emotions will lower her character. He advises her to restrain herself. After speaking, he says he'll investigate the Beast incident fragments and will leave the palace for a while, telling her not to look for him. Soyeon is stunned. She didn't expect him to leave so soon. Before she can finish speaking, the door closes. She grits her teeth in anger. She's Cecilia, who could be the epitome of a villainess. The Cecilia of the past would drag Aiden along to bully other children. This was the personality of the Cecilia he originally knew. But since the Empress passed away, he hadn't seen Cecilia show such a brilliant smile again. After losing her mother, Cecilia's temperament changed drastically, venting her grief by hurting others. But even this Cecilia was a child he had to protect. Lost in thought, his sword is knocked away, and he hurriedly apologizes. His subordinate can't help complaining that he's been practicing too diligently lately and tells him to go easier. Aiden apologizes again, explaining his mind has been a bit chaotic lately. They're shocked and quickly ask if it's because of a woman. Hearing this, Aiden flushes and hastily denies it, urging them to train quickly. Soyeon is still troubled. Vivian actually wants 100 strands of Aiden's hair. Vivian teases that she's always clinging to Aiden, so this shouldn't be difficult for her. But Vivian acts coy with Soyeon, saying with just 100 strands of hair, she can do many things. Soyeon is on the verge of tears. She can't actually pluck them one by one. Suddenly a flash of inspiration strikes. Perhaps she can collect fallen hair from Aiden's clothes. As long as she gathers 100 strands, she won't have to do something as stupid as plucking hair. What happens after that is none of her concern. Aiden arrives after being summoned, wondering what she needs him for. Soyeon doesn't answer, just enthusiastically waves for him to sit down. Hearing this, Aiden is even more confused, not understanding why she wants him to sit here. Seeing her hand touch his hair, Aiden's eyes widen in shock. Soyeon quickly explains she's not doing anything weird and tells him to sit calmly. As the comb gently passes through, Aiden feels uneasy inside. Outside the door, Ella worries. Surely the princess isn't doing something weird with hair again? Looking at the collected hair, Soyeon stops with satisfaction. It's more than she imagined. She informs him that's enough for today. Combing too much at once is dangerous. Aiden asks warily what she wants to do. Soyeon quickly changes the subject, asking if his recent training has been going smoothly. Aiden says there's no problem, everything is proceeding as usual. But Soyeon sees through the pretense and asks what happened. Only then does Aiden say he's troubled by something involving the prince. He explains it's the Imperial Waterway Project, the river construction work. Hearing this, Soyeon recalls that Lucas seemed to mention this before. She can't help wondering, the Empire already has a great river. Why would they need to build another one? Aiden says he's not sure, but for this Victor has even mobilized Imperial forces, even taking his subordinates. So training has to be set aside for now. After hearing this, Soyeon burns with rage. She thinks it's utterly absurd that Victor took Aiden's subordinates and mobilized Imperial forces to build a river. Aiden smiles helplessly. After all, this is a project for the people's drinking water. Soyeon loudly questions how Aiden can believe him. That river hasn't dried up and has nothing to do with drinking water. This so-called drinking water project is just an excuse to build a private villa. It's shameless. She absolutely won't allow Victor to use military power for personal matters. She'll definitely make this project fall through. But as for how to do it specifically, she has no clue for the moment and can only think from scratch. She wonders if only she could send Victor away, but reality doesn't allow it. If this were a game, perhaps she could exploit progress glitches. Her eyes light up. If just one link goes wrong, the whole thing collapses. Aiden's subordinates are at the construction site. Perhaps she can use them in reverse. She can have them help investigate what's happening at the construction site and collect evidence of Victor's crimes. But Victor surely anticipates she'll use Aiden, so they can only act as if nothing's happening. She immediately tells Aiden to pause training so they can formulate a plan together. Meanwhile, a blue bird flies onto Victor's desk. It reports to him that the project is progressing smoothly. smoothly. But Victor's mind isn't on this. He's still puzzling over where Cecilia got so many stardust fragments. But he actually already has the answer. It must be that witch Vivian. No need to think about it. He wanted to poach her, but she refused. Vivian clearly stated she's on Cecilia's side. Hearing this, Victor loses it. He doesn't understand where exactly he lost to Cecilia, but Vivian comforts him that he hasn't lost. It's just that Cecilia has Aiden, so that's why she chose her. Though unwilling, Victor can understand. After all, Aiden has been clinging to Cecilia since childhood, but he can't understand Lucas's choice. The two were betrothed as children, so how did he suddenly fall in love with her now? In terms of appearance, Isabella's looks aren't inferior, but her intelligence seems insufficient. He never expected she'd actually believe he truly loves her, but there's nothing he can do about it. She's still useful to him. So he decides to write a letter. He instructs his subordinate to deliver the letter to Isabella and convey his abundant love. The subordinate silently mocks. This so-called love is nothing but lies, but this has nothing to do with him. He just needs to follow orders. Soyeon calls Aiden's name several times before he suddenly snaps back. She asks if Waterway 3 has 5 guards on duty. She didn't expect he was listening the whole time. Aiden gazes at her, thinking how strange. He thought seeing her would calm him down. Seeing his unusual expression, Soyeon hurriedly asks if he feels unwell somewhere. She emphasizes they must deliver a fatal blow to Victor and stop his Waterway project plan. She asks to borrow Aiden's subordinates. Them working for him won't easily arouse suspicion. Aiden readily agrees, guaranteeing his subordinates are absolutely reliable and will definitely find intelligence. Soyeon is delighted and thanks him repeatedly, inviting Aiden to eat together. But Aiden gazes at her with flushed cheeks, marveling at how beautiful she is. The next moment, Soyeon accidentally falls into his arms. Aiden asks worriedly if she's okay. This sudden contact instantly reminds her of the back hug in the game. Soyeon's cheeks flush bright red. Butterflies flutter in her stomach as she secretly feels lucky. Immersed in shy emotions, she accidentally speaks out loud, and Aiden looks at her in confusion. Snapping back, she quickly covers up, saying she's fine. Though puzzled, Aiden doesn't press further. Soyeon is full of anticipation for lunch. Eating luxurious cuisine for all 3 meals, being reincarnated as a princess is too blissful. She heard that today's lunch was specially prepared to celebrate the Sky Lantern Festival, and Eliana also came to the banquet. Ever since she fell in the garden that festival day, she's been deeply in love with Lucas. As soon as Eliana sees Soyeon, she excitedly praises the lantern explosion idea. Soyeon laughs awkwardly in response, but feels guilty inside for plagiarizing game content. Lunch begins, and she's already anticipating what the main course will be. She guesses it might be pork, chicken, or perhaps beef. When purple lobster is brought to the table, the chef explains that lobster turns red when cooked, but Soyeon's smile instantly freezes. Aiden notices her complexion doesn't look good, and Soyeon pretends nothing's wrong, but inside she remembers the scene when her mother first made lobster for her. She had been full of anticipation, but after one bite, she couldn't stop vomiting. Her face pale, she endures the discomfort and makes an excuse about her stomach feeling unwell to return to her room. Aiden watches full of confusion. She used to get excited seeing lobster. Back in her room, Soyeon can't help complaining. Just seeing lobster makes her want to vomit. She's deeply discouraged. She thought she'd already adapted. She didn't expect she still can't get used to this hair color and appearance. Her hair is gold deeper than lemon, Aiden's is shining silver, and Lucas's seems the most ordinary. At this moment, Felix and Ella knock on the door, asking if she's finished dining. They inform her they've received many fan letters. Soyeon looks at the mountain of gifts, unable to believe they're all in support of her. Felix picks up the letters to remind her there's also a pile of fan mail. Ella remarks that just organizing them took a long time. Soyeon suppresses her inner excitement, constantly reminding herself she's Cecilia now. On the other side, Lucas is focused on researching the beast, his expression grave with new discoveries. He looks at the reagent in the cup puzzled, saying it should have changed, but artificially created beasts won't react to any reagents. Understanding this, he calls Raven out. He doesn't want to be entangled in this matter, yet still has no choice but to be involved with Cecilia. Soyeon looks at the red liquid in the bottle and asks in confusion what it is. Lucas states bluntly that it's human blood extracted from the beast's foreign matter. Soyeon is utterly shocked. She instantly understands the beast was controlled by forbidden magic. Lucas nods in confirmation. Someone used forbidden magic to control the beast. Forbidden magic is extremely dangerous. Users who make mistakes will lose their lives. But this magic can not only revive the dead but also control beasts, and has long been banned by the Empire. Controlling beasts requires injecting the user's blood. Soyeon asks pointedly how to find out whose blood it is. Lucas flatly refuses. She's both angry and confused. She was rejected before even saying what she wanted to do. Lucas states bluntly that he's busy with affairs and can't investigate everyone's blood one by one. Soyeon asks if the Emperor and Prince can use magic. Lucas explains that even if they can't, they can easily hire mages. At this moment, a servant suddenly appears flustered, informing her that the Emperor is urgently summoning her right now. The Emperor's roar echoes deafeningly through the hall. He accuses Soyeon of daring to curse her own father to death. Soyeon feels indignant. She only came as instructed and has no idea what's happening. Victor suddenly steps forward asking what happened, and Soyeon feels disgusted. When did he even get here? The Emperor barks an order at Duke Grayson to bring the item, and the name sounds oddly familiar to Soyeon. The next second, he slams a comb down in front of Soyeon, demanding to know why it appeared in his chamber. Soyeon is utterly shocked. This is the comb she used on Aiden's hair. She clearly remembers she had placed it in her room's drawer. How could this? The Emperor rages. Did she allow others into his chamber? Or was this deliberate intimidation? He demands to know if she's warning him that she can take his life anytime. Aiden rushes to defend Soyeon. He insists it's just an ordinary comb, that His Majesty must be mistaken. She's concerned for him. But the Emperor furiously silences him and viciously slaps him across the face. Soyeon trembles all over. The Emperor's violence mirrors her stepfather Han Jinwoo exactly. She rushes to check Aiden's wound, but he keeps saying he's fine, not wanting her to worry. Soyeon can't suppress her anger and demands what the Emperor is doing. She never goes to his chamber and has better things to do. Emotions running high, she declares that if she truly wanted to kill him, she wouldn't let him off so easily with a comb. The Emperor is left speechless by her retort, and Victor quickly tries to smooth things over, urging both to calm down. He summons Duke Grayson, and Soyeon suddenly realizes Duke Grayson is Victor's ally. Alarm bells ring in her mind. The Grayson family wields great power. These two conspiring together must have ulterior motives. Victor asks if the comb was truly found in the chamber, and Grayson nods affirmatively. Yet he questions that even if it is Soyeon's comb, it hardly carries much evidentiary weight. The Emperor demands what he's trying to say, and Victor smiles, agreeing with Soyeon that the comb poses no real threat. He reassures the Emperor that all potential dangers have been eliminated. There's no need for excessive worry. Soyeon grows more confused. Why is Victor suddenly helping her? What's his angle? The Emperor coldly informs Soyeon that he hasn't forgiven her and will make her pay one day. But Soyeon feels deeply wronged. She did nothing wrong. Why should she beg for forgiveness? Victor leans in and whispers to the Emperor again, saying something that eases his expression slightly. Watching the Emperor's departing figure, Soyeon instantly understands. By protocol, the Emperor leaving first means both of them are at fault. Both she and Victor have lost points. Aiden apologizes guiltily, but Soyeon suppresses her anger and gently reassures him this isn't his fault. Victor suddenly snickers beside them, and Soyeon coldly demands what he finds amusing. Victor feigns innocence with a question, his mocking laughter making Soyeon angrier. But right now, Aiden is what matters most. How dare they leave a mark on Aiden's handsome face? Soyeon's eyes fill with resentment. Aiden quickly reassures her that he's truly fine. These minor wounds are common during his regular training, but Soyeon worries about scarring, and Ella comforts her that they're using the Empire's finest medicine. No need to worry. Yet she can't help but worry, falling into deep self-blame. Suddenly, a strange sound. A bird stumbles into the room, shattering the calm. Soyeon looks closely. It's a raven. Why can't it fly? Ella steps forward to examine it carefully, finding the raven covered in wounds with weak breathing. They panic instantly, fearing the raven might die. Felix rushes to examine it. He confirms the raven is still alive. He asks Ella to get bandages. Soyeon watches Felix's skilled treatment, surprised he knows how to heal animals. Felix explains with a smile that this skill is precisely why he was hired. Soyeon's heart stirs. She has discovered yet another aspect of Cecilia she didn't know. Isabella speculates whether Victor did this, but Soyeon doesn't think he'd be so rash. After examining, Felix reports the raven was shot by an arrow but fortunately isn't in mortal danger. But Soyeon notices that Lucas's raven wears the same style of hat. She frowns deeply. Who would dare do such a thing openly? Isabella sits composedly in her room, calmly asking if the gift was delivered. Her subordinate respectfully confirms they shot the raven as ordered. Isabella nods with satisfaction, dismisses him, her gaze growing colder. She murmurs to herself that it's time to deal with those dragging her down. Soyeon comforts Lucas that fortunately the injuries aren't life-threatening. She had suspected it might be his raven, and turns out she was right. Lucas sighs with relief, grateful to Soyeon for the timely rescue. But Soyeon says there's no need to thank her. It's nothing major, and she points out that Felix is the one who truly saved Nova. Lucas introduces Nova as his spirit familiar, which is why it can understand human speech. Nova immediately speaks up, expressing gratitude to everyone present. Soyeon has read about spirit familiars in the palace archives, aged animals becoming spiritual beings. They choose a master or animal to bond with, and if they die, the master suffers severe damage. Soyeon's thoughts return, asking Lucas if he has any idea who did this. The attacker didn't kill but warned instead. Was the target herself, her fiancé Lucas, or both? Even the arrow has vanished. Lucas first suspects Prince Victor, believing it's his doing. Soyeon had the same suspicion, but Victor was being scolded by the Emperor alongside her. Hard to imagine he could pull this off afterward. She's utterly puzzled, unable to think of a reasonable culprit. This isn't in the game, she needs to note it in her strategy guide. Then she asks about Nova's recovery time. Felix answers it'll take about 2 weeks. Soyeon immediately grows anxious. That long? She resolves to learn healing magic as soon as possible. This declaration causes an uproar, everyone showing shocked expressions. Soyeon nods firmly. Soyeon admits she's thought this through. She has no medical talent, no time for books, only magic can make her stronger quickly. But Lucas throws cold water on this, saying magic can't be learned through determination alone. Proper magic schools require years of study, not overnight success. Soyeon acknowledges his point but still refuses to give up. She frantically demands if she didn't attend magic school before. Ella informs her that she thought imperial studies were more important. Felix adds casually that she also took acting classes. Soyeon can't help but wonder if Cecilia's act of kindness came from those acting classes. The servants mention her favorite was political magical theory. Soyeon never imagined her past self was so conspicuous. She grows frantic. Can't she just instantly learn magic without reading? Everyone chuckles at the impossibility, bluntly saying such thinking is too naive. Lucas looks at her. He recalls a child who once wanted to learn magic. Soyeon silently calculates. Lucas won't teach her, and she doesn't want to go to school. What should she do? Everyone discusses how astounding the princess's transformation is. Someone who once despised magic now actively wants to learn. Felix finally concludes this must be the power of love. Lucas, a mage himself, is completely baffled by this. The next day, Soyeon finds Vivian. The moment they meet, Vivian demands something, leaving Soyeon confused about what she wants. Vivian anxiously explains it's one of Aiden's hairs, complaining that Soyeon is too slow. Soyeon is both angry and helpless. How could she pluck them all at once? Would Vivian take responsibility if Aiden went bald? She interrupts Vivian, saying she has a favor to ask. Vivian immediately ups her demand to 1,000 hairs. Soyeon ignores this and earnestly begs Vivian to teach her magic, her attitude resolute. Vivian looks puzzled, asking what she's scheming. Soyeon smiles guiltily. She can't exactly say she's a transmigrator wanting to experience magic. She recalls Nova's terrible condition. Along with the Emperor and Victor, they clearly bully the weak and fear the strong. They see her as easy prey, which is why they act so brazenly. She can endure being wronged, but she won't let those around her suffer. To resist these unknown off-to-script events, she must become stronger. She needs more power and more solid support. In the game, Cecilia doesn't use magic and relies on hired mages, but she wants to become stronger and control power herself. Soyeon suddenly has a wild idea, asking if there's some epic amnesia magic. Vivian grumbles that she's delusional. That's the highest level magic. Muggles shouldn't dream of instant success. Seeing Soyeon's determination, Vivian finally relents. She agrees to teach from the basics, which delights Soyeon immensely. Soyeon excitedly lunges to thank her, but Vivian finds it disgusting and tells her to stay away. Vivian pushes her away, stating bluntly that the basics are simple. The core is mental focus. Healing, telekinesis, magic creation, all stem from firm mental intention. Vivian assigns the first task: paralyze the insect before her. Soyeon's skin crawls looking at the insect. She never expected the entry level to be this difficult. Vivian emphasizes the importance of direct action. Focus even more than usual. Urgently concentrate on one thing. Soyeon forces herself to concentrate, but internally grumbles this isn't simple at all. But since she's already decided, there's no reason to quit halfway. She repeatedly chants the word focus in her mind, trying to concentrate. But looking at the disgusting insect, Soyeon simply can't bear it. She breaks down wailing. Why does the beginner task have to be this? The magic makes no progress. Soyeon breaks down crying. How long does she have to practice? Vivian responds coolly, until she succeeds. She wants to practice in her room, but Vivian refuses, emphasizing there's a huge difference between having a teacher and not. Besides, the shed is within her magic range. With that, she lies down and says to call her when done. Soyeon feels utterly frustrated. Is this a teacher or an enemy? Her thoughts drift uncontrollably. If she were still Lee Soyeon, what would she be doing now? Her gaming-addicted self would probably be a shut-in gamer by now, or Han Jinwoo's cooking slave. When could she have escaped that suffocating home? She suddenly thinks of her mother. Though inadequate, she was 1,000 times better than Han Jinwoo, the only person who treated her kindly. She hurriedly wipes away tears, forcing herself to focus on magic training. She keeps chanting, "Please pass out," in her mind, eyes fixed intently on the insect before her. The bottle suddenly shakes violently. The insect actually stops moving completely. Soyeon is both shocked and delighted, shouting, "It's not moving!" Vivian is awakened by her, groggily opening her eyes, not knowing what happened. In the evening, Soyeon walks out and immediately sees Aiden. She asks in surprise when he arrived. Aiden states he's been guarding nearby all along as her sworn knight. He gently asks if she's already started learning magic. Soyeon nods firmly, complaining it's truly exhausting. She has no idea how long she stared at that disgusting insect. Then she excitedly brags that she can finally use magic. Vivian said telekinesis is the foundation of magic. A few days later, with the maids watching and cheering, she attempts magic again. Her ears are filled with the maids' shouts. Like when she paralyzed the insect, she thinks of her mother, then concentrates. With a gasp, the magic works again, and the maids cheer jubilantly. But Soyeon's head throbs painfully. She asks them to be quiet. Each success drains massive amounts of energy. Ella praises her with a smile that this time was much more natural than last. Soyeon smugly says it's a piece of cake. She's heard that after mastering the basics, different magical affinities awaken based on constitution. She wants healing magic. When playing games, she always chose healer roles. But now throwing fireballs seems pretty good too. Soyeon tries once more, levitating the teapot. After using magic for too long, Soyeon's stamina is completely drained. She urgently needs rest. But Aiden suddenly calls her. She turns her head in confusion. She sees Aiden suddenly kneel, and Soyeon asks in shock what he's doing. He confesses that his initial oath had ulterior motives. He pitied her circumstances and wanted to control her, and selfishly believed that without him, she could never be independent, never considering her own awareness or purpose. He sincerely thanks Soyeon for awakening him. Soyeon is rather bewildered, thinking she hasn't done anything. But Aiden doesn't think so. He vows to protect her for the rest of his life until death. Soyeon is moved deep down. The former Cecilia probably couldn't have changed Aiden's mind or understood his true heart. Warmth fills her heart. She has long decided to protect Aiden as well. She firmly declares she will become emperor, and Aiden must be by her side. Just then, rustling sounds suddenly come from the flower bushes. Aiden immediately becomes alert, drawing his sword and standing before Soyeon. The next second, a large dog bursts out, charging straight at Soyeon. Seeing it's a dog, Soyeon's eyes light up. She happily asks why the dog isn't shy. Does it recognize her? Isabella looks worried at this scene, but Soyeon reassures her that although it's large, it's gentle and cute, not dangerous at all. Isabella hesitates, wanting to tell her the dog's owner, when suddenly someone shouts Atlas, interrupting her. An unfamiliar man rushes over, quickly bows to Soyeon upon seeing her, and apologizes for his carelessness. Soyeon examines his clothing, which she's never seen before, guessing he's someone else's servant. Aiden's expression darkens sharply, sternly ordering Sebastian to take the dog away. Soyeon is puzzled. Aiden actually knows this person. The man apologizes frantically, then urgently calls Atlas, but the dog refuses to leave. Seeing this, Soyeon also can't bear to part with the adorable big dog. She suggests to Sebastian that Atlas play with her a bit longer. Aiden urgently tries to dissuade her. The dog's owner isn't Sebastian. Seeing him like this, Soyeon grows nervous. Who is the dog's owner? Just then, a familiar yet strange voice comes from behind the bushes. So Atlas is here. Atlas wags its tail and walks toward him. Victor slowly emerges. He teasingly remarks that Soyeon has made a new boyfriend. Seeing her expression sour, Victor deliberately teases, if not a new boyfriend, then an old flame. Learning the owner is Victor, Soyeon angrily curses this traitor. She angrily retorts that Victor has time for banter when the project is nearly ruined. Victor calmly counters that the project was permitted by His Majesty, something he fought for. Soyeon challenges in displeasure. How is it yours when you clearly said the project was for all citizens? Victor shamelessly claims it's mutual aid between him and the people. Soyeon is infuriated. Aiden tries calling Cecilia to calm her, but Soyeon is too angry to back down. She's no longer the weak Cecilia from days ago. Soyeon concentrates intently, staring at Victor, but finds her magic ineffective. She can't believe it. She could use magic just moments ago. Why has it failed now? Victor laughs wildly, boasting he's not the only one who can use magic. Soyeon is furious. She didn't expect him to block it. Suddenly realizing she's full of doubt. Could Victor already use magic? Victor mocks her for showing off her power despite being so busy, telling her to stop while she's ahead. Soyeon sarcastically retorts that she wouldn't be so busy if not for cleaning up someone's mess. Victor plays dumb to the end. She recalls the comb incident. The day before that happened, only 3 servants and Aiden entered the room. Lucas and Nova entered before the incident occurred. She doesn't believe Lucas would do such a thing. The more she thinks, the stranger it seems. Why steal the comb specifically? Suddenly, Atlas bites Victor hard. Victor stubbornly warns Soyeon not to two-time before hastily fleeing. Soyeon is speechless. He should worry about his own leg. Aiden asks in confusion why she provoked the prince. Soyeon retorts defiantly that letting Victor act so arrogant will only make him push his luck. She suddenly remembers Aiden is her guard. Being so aggressive might make him feel guilty, so she reflects quietly, promising she'll try not to provoke Victor. Aiden bluntly tells her to remove the word try. Then he changes the subject, saying he has something to tell her. But there are too many eyes and ears here. The two find a secluded corner, and Soyeon asks what's going on. Aiden informs Soyeon that he has found a secret passage at the prince's construction site. Soyeon is both shocked and delighted, immediately wanting to act, but Aiden stops her. He urges her to stay calm. Panic won't solve problems. They need to act cautiously. He's already sent subordinates to observe the movements. The operation begins tonight. Soyeon and Aiden devise a battle plan, agreeing to act once the signal is given. The plan is to deal with Victor's workers and find evidence. As a gaming enthusiast, Soyeon is confident she can bring him down. The construction site has a clear hierarchy. High-ranking guards only do easy work. All the hard labor falls to ordinary workers, especially the night shift crews. Aiden's subordinates wait for the captain's signal, ready to spring into action. Soyeon hides in a barrel. Aiden asks worriedly if this is really okay. She says it's fine. There's no benefit to being seen by others. She urges Aiden not to worry about her and quickly execute the operation plan. Aiden sighs helplessly, telling her to first hide her dress properly. Time slowly passes. The long-awaited operation is finally about to begin, and Soyeon is thrilled. Soyeon hides inside the barrel, nervously watching every movement outside. The subordinate excitedly reports finding crucial evidence. Soyeon secretly rejoices that everything is going smoothly. She's full of anticipation. As long as they reveal the truth to the people, they can topple Victor. Even though in the original game plot, Victor had handled things well and was deeply trusted by the people, she refuses to give up. At least she can destroy one of his villas. The next day, Victor's villa construction site is exposed. The public is shocked. The prince was secretly building a mansion. The people call for investigation, but Aiden sees Victor's composed manner and feels something is wrong. but Soyeon can't spoil the plot. At this moment, someone approaches grandly. Duke Grayson questions everyone. Don't they understand the prince's intentions? Soyeon is surprised. She didn't expect Duke Grayson to give the speech instead of Victor. Duke Grayson twists the truth, claiming this is the prince's gift to the people. Soyeon can't believe he's spouting such nonsense. She watches helplessly as the crowd is persuaded, though she finds it foolish. She understands this is normal for that era. After Duke Grayson finishes, Victor appears on cue, following the Duke's words to say he always stands with the people. Soyeon mutters this spectacle is like a campaign rally. The crowd is incited, shouting "Long live His Highness the Prince!" Victor feigns humility, saying mere words can't convince everyone. Only actions can prove his integrity. Soyeon grows suspicious. This specific dialogue doesn't exist in the game. The original plot jumped directly to the next scene after the speech. Victor changes his tone, announcing he'll hand the entire project over to Cecilia. He even pretentiously calls her his dear little sister, claiming he has nothing to do with this matter. Soyeon can't believe it. Victor has the audacity to shirk responsibility like this. After the uproar, everyone praises the prince, crediting him with benevolent governance and calling him an angel on earth. The so-called transfer is just an excuse. When the incident broke, Victor's people had already evacuated, leaving only an empty construction site. All this makes Cecilia a laughingstock throughout the nation. Exactly what Victor wanted. But then again, Victor seems utterly unconcerned about this exposure, recalling the previous comb incident that caused such a stir. Soyeon is certain this is a conspiracy between Victor and Grayson. The comb is her personal item. Only someone familiar with her room would know. Victor and his subordinates have never been there. The answer becomes crystal clear. Among those she trusts, there's a spy planted by Victor. Victor asks if they got it. The spy respectfully presents Isabella's notebook, saying it's something Soyeon has cherished recently. Victor flips through the papers, trying to find her weakness. Lately, Cecilia has grown increasingly assertive, repeatedly overshadowing him. He desperately wants to suppress her. He never expected the princess, who cherishes so little, to be fascinated by this stack of papers. Victor realizes she seems to have figured out he stole the comb. That took considerable effort, but Cecilia has changed too much recently. Even her way of speaking is completely different, as if her soul has been swapped. He stares at the paper's content, frowning. What language is this? The handwriting is as messy as a child's scribbles, strange and incomprehensible. Victor demands if they brought the wrong item. The person quickly denies it, saying they took it immediately after she put it down. Cecilia would draw such childish patterns? Truly baffling. Victor is fluent in dozens of foreign languages, yet has never seen this script. He patiently assumes the content is genuine, but can't find Cecilia's signature. Vivian is furious. She tells Soyeon to use magic to catch insects, but Soyeon plays dumb, smiling and saying she hasn't. She decides that whenever complicated matters arise, she'll seek out Vivian to practice magic. She doesn't understand. Learning magic is good, but why must it involve dealing with insects? But Vivian says this leads to faster progress. Soyeon looks puzzled. What's the connection? Vivian speaks earnestly. Magic isn't that simple. Your mental focus must become as natural as breathing. Only then can you enter the second stage. Look at Soyeon now. She needs weird poses just to lift a flower pot. Soyeon laughs awkwardly, her weakness exposed with no rebuttal. She glances at Vivian, who's been busy with something. She wonders what she's doing. Soyeon suddenly sees something, her eyes widening in shock. It's the 100 strands of Aiden's hair she secretly collected. Vivian remains focused on her work, completely oblivious to Soyeon's reaction. Soyeon's heart skips a beat. She quickly pretends she saw nothing and sits obediently in the chair, curious about what Vivian plans to do. Suddenly, a loud bang shatters the calm. Smoke instantly fills the room. Soyeon gasps in fright, hurriedly asking if Vivian is all right. Vivian stands up and quickly examines carefully. Soyeon anxiously asks what's happening. Aiden suddenly shouts for Cecilia to be careful. The smoke gradually clears. A dark figure slowly emerges. Everyone holds their breath tensely. The figure makes a soft, cute ba. Vivian excitedly announces the magic is complete. Looking utterly smug, she stares at the little creature, pondering a name. Should it be Barney or Fluffy? Soyeon pokes the thing curiously, asking in confusion if this is what she's been working on. Vivian nods proudly, showing off her creation. With this, she won't worry about running out of Aiden's hair. Soyeon clicks her tongue internally, using Aiden's hair to create this creature. It doesn't look like a real animal, but rather a toy. Vivian leans in and whispers to Soyeon that she still needs Aiden. Soyeon should bring him often. The little creature is exceptionally smart, showing great affection toward Aiden. Soyeon watches this scene, thinking to herself, ignorance is bliss. Returning to her chamber, the three servants rush forward to greet her. They curiously ask what magic she learned today. Soyeon sighs helplessly, grumbling she spent the entire time catching insects. Soyeon looks at them, her emotions troubled. She still can't believe it. The hidden traitor is among these three trusted people. Young Cecilia cried, begging her mother not to leave, not to abandon her. The consort, weakened by illness, could only tearfully repeat her apologies. Cecilia sobbed and murmured no, begging her not to go, but it was useless. The doctor led her out, citing the need for the patient to rest quietly. Soyeon's dream overlaps. She looks at her mother on the hospital bed, softly calling out Mom. Her mother weakly cries out that the pain is unbearable. She murmurs, asking how long the pain will last. Soyeon cries, asking what can be done to heal. As the words fall, her mother loses consciousness. Everyone around immediately panics. Medical staff rush to take her out of the room, urgently calling for the defibrillator. She screams heart-wrenchingly for her mother, then snaps awake, realizing it was a dream. But the dull ache in her chest feels so real. This place suffocates like reality. Both are headache-inducing places. But if asked whether she wants to go back, her answer is no. Not because there are unfinished matters here, nor because Han Jinwoo exists in reality, simply because there's no one she cares about there. Just then, someone urgently calls Cecilia. She snaps back to reality, startled, asking what's wrong. Seeing it's Lucas, she asks in bewilderment why he's here. Lucas raises an eyebrow. That's his question. Why is she here? This is his research room. Soyeon laughs awkwardly to cover up, explaining she came for tomorrow's regular council meeting. It's an occasion both the Emperor and Prince will attend. Lucas doesn't understand what this has to do with him. Soyeon smiles awkwardly, making excuses about being poisoned and forgetting everything, begging Lucas to teach her discussion methods. Lucas scoffs coldly. If that's the case, there's nothing he can do. He even suggests she go to the hospital first. Soyeon is speechless. Why does everyone tell people to go to the hospital? She even helped Nova. She emphasizes tomorrow is the council meeting, asking him to help. Lucas casually says he doesn't remember. Lucas stares at her swollen eyes, bluntly asking if she didn't sleep well. Soyeon hastily denies it, saying she's just tired. She can't exactly admit she cried from dreaming about her mother. She makes an excuse that thinking about tomorrow's council with Victor attending makes her incredibly nervous. Lucas advises her to sit up straight, look people in the eye, and be confident. Soyeon admits she wants to learn how to demolish Victor, but she's told those are just basics. He teaches her that, even without evidence, she should stubbornly insist she's right. Soyeon hesitates. Wouldn't that be rude? Lucas says no more, just telling her to improvise. Though she notes Lucas's advice, her heart remains filled with anxiety. What if she makes a mistake, and everyone mocks her? Just thinking about it sends chills down her spine. Before the council, she repeatedly recites Lucas's words. Sit up straight, look them in the eye, be confident. Then the Emperor asks if construction has started. Soyeon nervously responds yes repeatedly. Ever since the comb incident, she's become very afraid of the Emperor. Everyone present begins whispering. She takes a deep breath, forcing herself to stay calm. Then she speaks seriously. She began the waterway project under her brother Victor's instructions. She's still anxious inside. This should work, right? The Emperor signals for the princess to speak first, telling her to flip the card on her seat to confirm the discussion topic. Seeing the word welfare, she knows this is merely the Emperor's entertainment, not a real discussion. Fundamentally, it's about comparing who can satisfy the Emperor more, her or Victor, like recreational amusement. Lucas saw through her long ago. She's unwilling to flatter and doesn't want to satisfy the Emperor. If that's the case, she might as well say whatever she wants. No one cares about this kind of occasion anyway. She steadies herself and speaks, bluntly stating the Empire's welfare facilities fall far short. Helpless orphans and elderly are everywhere. The current situation is heartbreaking. Therefore, she'll use this waterway project as a springboard for welfare. At these words, everyone becomes unsettled. Soyeon states she'll operate that building as a welfare facility, halt the project, and spend the money on welfare instead. The moment she finishes, someone objects, reminding her this is a serious council. But the Emperor speaks up, telling everyone to let her finish. He asks what if the waterway project is for drinking water. She believes existing river water resources are sufficient. Rather than occupying land to build waterways, it's better to convert it into practical welfare facilities. Though she speaks forcefully, she's actually unsure inside. Half of what she said is nonsense. She declares loudly that as long as she completes it within the deadline, there's no problem. After finishing briefly, she's too nervous to look at everyone's reactions. Unexpectedly, Victor speaks first, saying the princess's proposal isn't bad. The Emperor finally nods in approval, saying to proceed according to the princess's proposal. Soyeon stands frozen in disbelief. Lucas is amazing. As long as she's confident enough, Victor won't object. The council ends. Soyeon chugs lemon soda, instantly feeling the refreshing sensation of rebirth. Ella and Rosalind considerately say the princess worked hard. They thoughtfully ask if she wants ice. Soyeon nods in response. She just nods when it suddenly hits her. There's no refrigerator here. How do they make ice? Before Soyeon can figure it out, she's stunned by what happens next. She sees a maid cast magic, instantly creating an ice cube. Soyeon's eyes widen slightly. Making ice with magic is so cool. Ella puts the ice cube in the lemonade, asking with a smile if she likes it. Soyeon nods vigorously, saying she absolutely loves it. She sincerely thanks them, her voice filled with genuine gratitude. The three watching feel their eyes moisten. Their princess has truly changed completely. But Soyeon is secretly thinking she still has important business unfinished. She's certain the traitor is among these three before her. Soyeon calls Ella over. She asks her to fetch the notebook. Ella responds affirmatively, quickly retrieves the notebook and hands it to Soyeon. Soyeon takes the notebook, politely saying they worked hard, signaling the three can withdraw and stand by. Soyeon's fingers trace the notebook. She can feel that prying gaze. Someone keeps watching her from the shadows, clumsily playing the spy. Soyeon calls out Rosalind in a low voice. Rosalind freezes at the sound. Then she turns back, feigning composure, asking what the matter is. Soyeon bluntly tells her to stay for a chat, but deep down she knows. At times like these, the truth must be uncovered. Rosalind is utterly confused, asking what Soyeon commands. Soyeon deliberately puts on a stern face, using period drama tone to demand what crime she committed and to confess honestly. suspiciously. Rosalind panics momentarily, then pretends not to understand. Soyeon mutters to herself, "Is she going to play dumb to the end?" She denies vehemently, claiming she has no idea what Soyeon is talking about. Soyeon knows in her heart, from her intuition, this is absolutely the spy. How can she make her confess? She puts on a gloomy expression, asking Rosalind if she finds it strange. Rosalind is bewildered, unable to fathom the princess's intention. Soyeon speaks darkly. Combs don't have legs. Yet it suddenly ran out of the drawer and disappeared. "If being nice won't solve this," she says, her tone taking on a threatening edge. She's changed a lot during this time. She feels sorry about the past, so she's made great efforts. She stares intently at Rosalind, demanding if all her efforts were in vain. Playing the villainous role, she questions, "I believe treating people sincerely would be rewarded. Was it just my delusion?" Rosalind is devastated by these words, emotionally crying out, "Princess." She frantically begs for mercy, swearing she'll never betray again. As expected, mole is Rosalind. She seemed to lack loyalty, which is why Soyeon decided to test her. Though Rosalind returning the notebook without anyone noticing is quite impressive. Soyeon can't help but grumble. This is much harder than tasks in the game. Looking at the panic-stricken Rosalind, she begins to ponder how to deal with her. Rosalind keeps kowtowing and begging for mercy, crying that this is the last betrayal. Soyeon raises an eyebrow. "The last time?" Rosalind hurriedly explains. Compared to Soyeon, Prince Victor is more terrifying. Soyeon doesn't understand. Rosalind confesses that because Soyeon was too tormenting, she turned to Victor. But she once witnessed something. Victor coldly saying he should have finished him off in one go. Hearing this, Soyeon is somewhat surprised he would say such things. She demands if the poisoning was also Victor's order. Rosalind quickly denies it, swearing she was asleep that day and woke up with Ella. Soyeon rapidly calculates how to handle this. Harsh punishment would contradict Cecilia's benevolent ruler image. After a moment's thought, Soyeon's eyes light up. She's thought of a brilliant idea. She invites Rosalind to become her double agent. Rosalind is shocked, speechless. Soyeon asks with a smile, her tone full of confidence and anticipation. Soyeon directs the workers loudly, adjusting positions and repeatedly reminding them to be careful. The Stardust Fragment event at the Starlight Festival distributed resources, helping some people but still leaving much to be desired. Many people remain trapped in poverty. Ignoring this would contradict her goal of becoming a benevolent ruler. Though her stubbornness slowed the project before, it's certainly better than shoddy construction. Suddenly she realizes she hasn't seen Lucas in a while. He wants to keep his distance, so he told her not to seek him out. But she still can't help wanting to see him. Holding onto a sliver of hope, she searches everywhere for traces of him. She asks around if anyone has seen Lucas. They say he was just here. Then they gather around requesting her autograph. This unexpected fan interaction becomes the only gain from this trip. She thinks to herself it must be because she's Cecilia. He deliberately avoids meeting her. Helplessly, she decides to deal with it later. She still has many things to handle, including matters about Cecilia's past. Ella gazes at Rosalind, noticing her good complexion, and teases whether she's in love. She says bluntly that love makes people radiant. Rosalind quickly denies it, her cheeks flushing. Remembering when Vivian handed her a reward for her hard work, Rosalind asks curiously what it is. Vivian informs her it's made from pearl essence. Rosalind gasps aloud. Seeing this, Vivian explains helplessly that this item is precious and has many benefits for the skin. She adds that Soyeon specifically instructed her to accept it. Soyeon watches them getting along harmoniously and secretly breathes a sigh of relief. It seems Rosalind has kept the double agent's secret. She steps in timely to stop the teasing, reminding everyone that if they see Lucas, they must inform her immediately. Everyone agrees in unison, but she knows finding Lucas is extremely difficult. Eliana suddenly appears, greeting her warmly. She proactively suggests having tea together. Soyeon asks if anything special has happened recently. Eliana mysteriously reveals there's a hot topic recently related to her. Soyeon looks puzzled. How did she become the center of discussion again? Eliana states bluntly it's rumors of two-timing, which have spread widely. Soyeon is shocked. How could there be such rumors? Could it be the cheating Victor mentioned? But Eliana says the rumors have actually received much praise. Everyone applauds it. Initially, the rumors drew criticism, and she was condemned as a fickle, unvirtuous princess. After spreading outside the palace, she was still criticized, but at a certain point, things shifted. Eliana speculates it's because her popularity skyrocketed after the Stardust Fragment event, so public opinion quietly reversed. The negative rumors became praise for her charm. Everyone commends her extraordinary appeal that has two men competing for her heart. Soyeon doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. This turned out to be a blessing in disguise. She had worried it would affect her strategy plan, but now it seems there's no harm done. Eliana teases and praises that being pursued by two men is quite impressive. At this moment, a servant presents a letter, informing her it's from Prince Victor. Soyeon is puzzled. She asks again in disbelief, is this really a letter Victor wrote to her? The servant confirms yes. She can't help but wonder if this is a bomb disguised as a letter. Opening it, she finds Isabella's handwriting, an invitation to a pre-engagement party. She mutters to herself that the two are shamelessly flaunting their relationship. The invitation notes a modest party, but she knows the fifth princess's personality. This party will be anything but modest. The party is only a week away, Time is tight. Ella comes to report that the dress for the party is ready. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye, it's the day before the party. She finally sees Lucas. She can't help but demand why he's deliberately avoiding her, hiding desperately when he knows she's looking for him. She commands him not to move, threatening to use magic to trap him, but finds it doesn't work. Lucas says she's still far from ready. She retorts defiantly that she's still a beginner, but Lucas deflects effortlessly, saying he wasn't found. He appeared of his own accord. As her fiancé, accompanying her to the party is his duty. He said he would honestly fulfill the contract and absolutely won't shirk responsibility. Soyeon asks if his party attire is ready. Lucas says everything has been arranged. Hearing this, she responds dismissively, calculating something. She points out they have never formally danced together and feels regret. She resolves to take the initiative. She suggests dancing is also a fiancé's duty and musters the courage to extend her hand in invitation. Seeing no response from him, she reminds him her arm is about to fall off, just when she can't hold on any longer. She finally receives his response. Lucas accepts the invitation. Let's dance together. Lucas gently reminds Soyeon to relax her hand. Soyeon's face burns. She thinks to herself, is Lucas attacking her with his looks? She's too flustered to look directly at him, but Lucas demands she look at him. Soyeon hastily responds that she is looking. Lucas earnestly praises her for dancing better than at the last ball, yet he ponders internally that she might be an eccentric but sincere person. He can't help but suspect he misunderstood her before. This is her unknown side. But Soyeon is so nervous her palms are sweating. Lucas has no idea how much she sacrificed to practice dancing, nor does he know how shy she feels being held by his strong hand. Even less does anyone know that Lucas is her beloved favorite character from the game. Soyeon asks anxiously if she has improved. Lucas gives a brief This makes her breathe a huge sigh of relief instantly. Soyeon can't help but wail. Dancing is really so difficult. Lucas adds that she truly danced well this time, delighting her immensely. He suggests meeting more often to practice so her dancing skills can improve, then emphasizes it's limited to the frequency stipulated in the contract. He inwardly warns himself. He almost developed inappropriate feelings for Soyeon just now. Soyeon grumbles. Why does he always draw a line with her? She secretly resolves to become a truly refined Princess Cecilia. She must create an extremely charming version of herself and make Lucas fall in love with her on his own. Time passes in a flash, and it's the day of the party. The venue is decorated on a grand scale, Soyeon mutters internally. This scale practically slaps Cecilia's engagement ceremony in the face. Isabella warmly gives thanks, appreciating all the distinguished guests for their enthusiastic participation. Guests praise her beauty. She smugly thinks to herself that she deliberately dressed up carefully. But Soyeon feels awkward internally about wearing an oversized bow. Both Ella and Rosalind believe Lucas will definitely find this look cute. But Soyeon doesn't believe it. How could Lucas possibly say so cute out loud? She imagines that scenario and can't help but want to laugh. The trio watches and secretly marvels at how the power of love has changed the princess. Isabella clings to Victor, urging him to announce the engagement news quickly. But Victor calls her darling to calm her down, saying not to rush. First mingle with guests, then find the right moment. Isabella acts cutely, saying she's super anxious. Soyeon mutters internally that if it were her, she'd have thrown up already. As Isabella announces the ball has begun, the atmosphere instantly becomes lively. Guests immediately discuss in surprise, calling those nearby to look quickly. Soyeon is proud that she's dancing very well this time, but Lucas reminds her to look at him and not mind the surrounding gazes. Soyeon obediently responds, constantly telling herself inwardly to stay calm. She's already doing great. Guests praise Lucas's milk-like smooth skin. The two look like a pair of beautiful swans. Isabella grinds her teeth in anger on the side. How dare they steal the spotlight at her banquet? Someone notices Isabella's displeasure and feels somewhat fearful. Hearing Isabella's teeth-grinding voice, Soyeon feels extremely smug inside. She's secretly proud. This is the result of her staying up late to practice hard. How could she dance poorly? She sneers inwardly. Victor should hurry and appease his jealous fiancé. Soyeon can't help but compare. Lucas is just so much better than Victor. Watching Isabella and Victor argue, she ponders. This party event should count as a success, right? Soyeon gets excited for a moment and pats Lucas's shoulder hard, praising him for doing well. After patting, she realizes she used too much force and immediately feels a bit embarrassed. Lucas helplessly reminds her that such behavior is unbecoming of a princess. Soyeon quickly apologizes. She thinks to herself, today's party is very different from the game's plot, but still within predictable range. Soyeon is speculating about what happens next when Victor suddenly walks onto the stage. He claims to have a major announcement. He acts mysterious, saying everyone should have guessed what it is. In his capacity as Prince of Eldoria Empire, he announces he will be engaged to the 5th Princess Isabella of Valeria Empire. He emphasizes this party is in the name of the empire to inform everyone of this news. He and Isabella are getting engaged. Soyeon appears calm on the surface. She had anticipated he would announce this news, but she really can't figure out what Victor is scheming. Everything is proceeding according to plan. Isabella feels smug inside. compared to the empty-headed, Cecilia. Victor is the Empire's future hope. This prince not only has looks and character, but also wields power. She vows to win him over. She raises her glass, ingratiatingly telling Victor they've received many blessings, and she's very happy. Soyeon watches the lively scene before her, muttering internally, "This isn't an engagement, it's more like a wedding." She deliberately walks forward and pretends to admire how well matched they are, but she secretly thinks, compared to Victor, her Lucas is far more handsome. Isabella is startled by her expression. Soyeon explains somewhat awkwardly that she's fine. Even if Isabella thinks she's devastated, it doesn't matter. Lucas is a top-tier handsome man with chiseled features and exceptional magical ability. At this moment, Victor's supporters crowd around. Unable to hide their shock at learning of his engagement, Victor speaks composedly, claiming this is the optimal choice for the Empire's future. He states frankly that he has many things he cannot accomplish alone and needs strong allies' support, and Princess Isabella of Valeria Empire is the best choice in his mind. While fans remain downcast, Victor immediately makes a heartfelt confession, vowing his love for the Empire won't change. This speech instantly stabilizes the fans, and cheers echo throughout the venue once more. Soyeon looks on coldly. Isabella's intentions couldn't be more obvious. As the youngest, she can't compete with her second brother Kael in the succession struggle. Since becoming emperor is hopeless, becoming the Empire's consort is the best solution. Once the engagement news breaks, both sides' forces begin to check each other. This power game is difficult, but as long as she gains enough support, there's still a chance of winning. More importantly, she holds the plot strategy guide. The only variable is that each action she takes might cause unexpected changes. Lucas points out quietly, it would be strange not to announce something so obvious. The fifth princess's purpose is crystal clear. But Soyeon worries, even if Isabella is incompetent, Valeria's support cannot be underestimated. Fortunately, she already has a solution in mind. Lucas watches her with growing surprise. In the past, she would have already flown into a rage and blamed others. The servant said before that she changed because of love. Could it really not be just talk? This question circles in Lucas's mind. Could she really have changed because she likes him? Soyeon rubs her throbbing temples, thinking to herself how exhausted she is. She can't help but grumble. A homebody really isn't suited for palace intrigue, but no matter how tired, she can't slack off. She must seize the opportunity now to gain more points and establish a firm foothold. She deliberately approaches to mock them, making such a big spectacle people might think it's a wedding. Victor confidently states, of course, his engagement ceremony far surpasses her shabby affair. Isabella timely pulls Victor to greet the young lords from Valeria. Soyeon watches the two with displeasure. She notices Victor's subordinates have clearly strengthened their guard, especially Victor's confidant, Duke Grayson. His arrogant manner is particularly grating to her eyes. Soyeon clenches her fists. She'll pay them back double sooner or later because her legs hurt from standing. She turns to Lucas and suggests they leave the venue first. She just takes a step and stumbles. Lucas catches her with lightning reflexes, gently reminding her to be careful. The warm embrace makes Soyeon's heart skip a beat. She smiles and thanks him. This scene makes the usually calm and composed Lucas's heart skip a beat uncontrollably. She steadies herself, quietly feeling grateful the expensive dress wasn't soiled. She asks Lucas somewhat anxiously if her performance as a princess today was decent. Aiden's voice suddenly comes through. He grabs Soyeon's wrist, anxiously asking if she's alright. Lucas's gaze turns cold. Aiden challenges him, asking if he's afraid he'll harm the princess. He states bluntly that his duty is to protect the princess, and he knows she has a fiancé. He won't have other thoughts. Soyeon feels the force from both sides and sighs helplessly, telling them to let go. Only then does Aiden realize and releases his grip in panic. He immediately kneels guiltily, bowing to Soyeon and admitting he was rude. She gently reassures Aiden that with Lucas by her side, he needn't worry excessively about her. Aiden's gaze becomes desolate as he says he understands. She adds with a smile that next time he only needs to come when it's truly urgent. Soyeon smiles and thanks Aiden for his hard work. Aiden's face instantly flushes red. Then he obediently withdraws first. Lucas's heart is restless. If Cecilia likes him, this seems like he's using her. He recalls that when they first met, they were already in a contract marriage, but both sides had no feelings whatsoever. At that time, both sides had agreed there would be no feelings. Only pursuing benefits was the sole goal. He clearly remembers agreeing without hesitation, without the slightest delay. Now his choice still won't change. He must bring that child back no matter what. Emilia was Lucas's sister, who was sent to a distant noble family as an adopted daughter when their family fell. Lucas had promised they would definitely meet again. He would definitely work hard and then bring her back. The siblings made this promise. That phrase, "brother, remember to come get me," became his obsession for many years. The family had hoped for better days, but news of Emilia vanished without a trace. Lucas senses Cecilia's determination to become emperor. If she truly ascends the throne, finding his sister might be possible. But these feelings sprouting from a relationship of mutual use leave him deeply conflicted. Initially, it was just a win-win contract, but now he has developed feelings for Cecilia and only feels flustered. Lucas smiles bitterly. Indeed, people shouldn't easily form bonds with each other. Soyeon's dreams replay repeatedly. She wakes crying while gripping the bedside. It seems like a childhood memory. Eliana curiously asks what dream it was. Soyeon recalls there was was a patient lying on the bed. Whenever she sees that person, her mood becomes very bad, but she doesn't even know who that person is. Before she can finish, Eliana hastily bids farewell. Soyeon wonders why she's leaving when she just arrived. Eliana only says dismissively that she has things to do and hurriedly escapes. Soyeon complains with some dissatisfaction that she hasn't even spoken yet. She turns around somewhat awkwardly. The servants also scatter. She can't help but suspect this hides Cecilia's past. She convinces herself the right choice is to insist she's forgotten everything and dispel this troubled feeling. She finds Aiden and complains. She clearly forgot everything, yet keeps remembering recently. Could these blurry fragments all be Cecilia's childhood memories? Soyeon tells Aiden firmly that even if he opposes, she won't back down. She pulls Aiden's hand, frankly saying now he's the only one she can rely on. She hopes Aiden can help her recover her memories. Aiden recalls softly that young Cecilia was lively and outgoing, but after the Empress fell ill, Cecilia also fell sick. After recovering, she became like a different person and never smiled again. The Emperor also changed drastically because of the Empress's illness, becoming harsh and power-hungry. Soyeon is secretly astonished. The game has never mentioned these past details. She can't help but suspect. Was the kind Cecilia she knew just acting? She had wanted to find clues from Cecilia's past, but now she understands why she was so malicious. Aiden says with relief that he's reassured about her now because she said she would change. He sees that she wants to break free from the past and move forward. Soyeon feels flustered inside. That's because she's not Cecilia at all. Her conscience feels vaguely uneasy. She comforts Aiden, saying there won't be any more sad things now. Realizing the ambiguity, she forces herself to stay composed and adds that once she ascends the throne, there won't be any more sorrows. Soyeon vows inwardly that she'll take responsibility for her words. No matter what Cecilia's past was like, she will rewrite her fate. Full of energy, she resolves to work hard from now on. Though she doesn't have a concrete plan yet, she must carefully formulate strategies going forward and advance her romance operation plan. Aiden watches her joyfully and reflects. This Cecilia truly deserves his oath of eternal loyalty. His oath of loyalty moves Soyeon. She never expected him to respect her so much. She pats her chest in assurance, telling Aiden to trust her completely. She secretly delights inwardly. First earn respect, then earn love. One step at a time. After returning to her room, she grows more puzzled about this precious venom. How was it obtained? Isn't this very precious? Who delivered the poison? And how did they get it here? Could it be something Cecilia obtained through a personal transaction? She has no clue. Just like her transmigration, there's no answer. She recalls Vivian's tracking magic. Though advanced, if she tries to imitate it, she might be able to identify the culprit. But she's just a magic beginner. Doing this is a bit difficult. Could it be the bottle was given as a gift because it's pretty? If she can uncover the cause of Cecilia's death, she might learn the truth about her transmigration. Though she's already prepared to die here, curiosity is ultimately hard to suppress. As drowsiness sweeps over her, the strange voice sounds again, asking if she's enjoying this life. Soyeon breaks out in cold sweat. Did she mishear? This tone clearly knows she's not the real Cecilia. She suppresses her fear, telling herself this is just an auditory hallucination from being too lazy. Compared to the days of being scolded by Han Jinwoo, her current life is truly happy. She won't let anyone take this stability from her. She just wants to hold on to it tightly. She shakes her head to concentrate, resolving to make the strategy notes even more perfect. She chants inwardly that she must make it foolproof. She keeps encouraging herself to make it even more perfect, until she absolutely can't hold on anymore. Felix quickly signals Ella to slow her breathing, asking what happened. Ella, still shaken, recounts asking Soyeon to return to bed in the early morning, but she was stunned by the scene before her. Soyeon is helpless. It's just a nosebleed, why make such a fuss? But Ella says she was a bloody mess. Soyeon mutters to herself. If she worked this hard in the real world, she'd have been top of her school long ago. She ponders that last night's androgynous voice was just an auditory hallucination. Felix helplessly reminds Soyeon she should go to bed earlier. Soyeon casually agrees, saying she knows. Changing the subject, Soyeon urgently asks about the latest progress on the project. Aiden informs her everything is going smoothly. They're replenishing scarce materials as instructed, and most of the prince's people have left. Some still propose working for monthly wages, willing to stay and continue serving. Hearing this, she becomes ecstatic. Have people finally started trusting her? Aiden then reveals the prince's popularity is nowhere near what it used to be. Soyeon asks in surprise. It seems this engagement dealt him quite a blow. Though Valeria's support can expand Victor's influence, this not only greatly disappointed his fanatical supporters, but also shocked commoners struggling in difficult times. Soyeon's eyes light up. She immediately decides to go outside the palace. Aiden looks hesitant. She says confidently that everything that needs to be done is finished. Perfect timing to check the outside situation. She also wants to inspect the project's status, gauge public support rates, and enjoy the scenery outside the palace. Hearing this, Aiden says no more, only stating he'll go prepare. Soyeon can barely contain her excitement. Going outside the palace in broad daylight is the first time since transmigrating. Hidden in the courtyard is a small door. Following the path, they can quietly leave the palace. Soyeon guesses it's probably for emergencies. She suddenly thinks of Lucas. Did he also sneak in through this door? After all, Lucas can always appear silently in her room. He must really be in a hurry. Aiden asks softly if Soyeon is ready. Soyeon nods repeatedly, saying she's all set. Her eyes light up, and she can't help but praise that this outfit suits him well. Hearing this, Aiden shows a delighted smile. He reminds her there are too many eyes and ears. Soyeon must stay close to him and not get lost. Soyeon huffs indignantly, grumbling that Aiden treats her like a child. Not far away, someone discusses that the prince is married. Someone immediately corrects them. It's just an engagement. They speculate the other party is from Valeria Empire, which is why the prince was eager to get engaged. One person states bluntly they'll support whoever gives benefits. Soyeon discovers this is a restaurant near her construction site. She didn't expect everyone to be hotly discussing her and the prince. Someone says they prefer Soyeon. She's had a marriage contract but doesn't flaunt it. The prince's engagement is too showy, obviously to check the princess. This power-grabbing attitude is repulsive, but some disparage the princess, saying her Stardust Fragment detonation plan was truly foolish. Soyeon grinds her teeth in anger. That was an idea she painstakingly came up with. To become emperor, one must gain approval from more than half the citizens, whether emperor, nobles, mages, or commoners. This is the worldview of Please Be the Princess. Distinct social classes, but also values public opinion. If commoner opinions are polarized, it's possible to reverse the situation. Now she can only manipulate public opinion like in the real world. But another person counters that it's actually quite interesting. Who would think to detonate Stardust Fragments in the air? He exchanged Stardust Fragments for toys for his daughter and bought 2 months' worth of food. He marvels that a royal who thinks of commoners this way is truly rare. Among the crowd, some support Cecilia, others still prefer Victor. Soyeon asks curiously if it's always this lively here. Aiden explains today is market day, so there are more people. The things before her make her exclaim in amazement. She praises with eyes full of wonder how beautiful it is, turning to ask Aiden's opinion. Aiden immediately asks the price. The vendor quotes it and jokes with a smile that Aiden is handsome, asking if the person beside him is his girlfriend. Hearing this, Aiden quickly waves his hands in denial, though his cheeks quietly flush. Soyeon says somewhat embarrassedly that she didn't mean for Aiden to buy it. Aiden says seriously that because Soyeon said it was beautiful, he wanted to buy it. Soyeon is helpless and gives one to Aiden, as a souvenir of their outing. She hands one to Aiden, reminding him he must wear it. On the rest of the journey, Aiden buys everything Soyeon praises. Soyeon quickly stops him, telling him not to spend so much money, but Aiden still insists, simply because Soyeon said those things were beautiful. Soyeon is full of doubt. Is Aiden very wealthy? She doesn't usually see him spending money. She curiously asks Aiden how much he earns per month as a guard. Aiden honestly answers he can receive over 100 Stardust Fragments. Hearing this, Soyeon is instantly shocked. The Stardust Fragments she detonated were not a small amount of money. That staggering amount equals 100 months of Aiden's salary. She sincerely marvels that Aiden is truly great, and she's quite remarkable too to have such a guard. Soyeon stares at the mountain of items, hesitantly asking if they bought too much, without her saying anything. Aiden mutters how much these things suit her while frantically making purchases, more excited than she is. He refuses her help and shoulders everything himself. Walking outside the palace after so long and feeling the breeze, Soyeon is in an exceptionally good mood. Aiden suddenly asks if she remembers this place. Soyeon admits frankly she has no memory of it. After all, it's her first time here since possessing this body. She sincerely thanks Aiden for being by her side. Aiden doesn't understand why. Soyeon explains she's thanking him for reminding her, but inwardly, a trace of guilt quietly rises, just as the two prepare to leave. A rough hand suddenly grabs Soyeon. Soyeon, still startled, demands who he is and tells him to let go. The man viciously demands she hand over her valuables, but Aiden reacts with lightning speed, instantly restraining the man. His gaze sharp, he demands who sent him. The man panics and can't speak. Seeing he won't speak, Aiden's anger intensifies and he applies more force, demanding again. Seeing this, Soyeon quickly intervenes, afraid Aiden might use too much force and kill him. Though Aiden's original character design is to become very agitated when Cecilia is in danger, she still can't bear it. She suddenly recalls, this man is the one who said the princess was interesting at the restaurant earlier. Soyeon doesn't understand. He clearly has work, so why rob in the street? But the man mocks them for their high status, saying they don't understand laborers' hardships at all. He makes a threat. If they don't let him go, he'll spread news of the two of them being in love. She didn't expect this person to be so brazen. She hadn't planned to be aggressive. Soyeon hesitates inwardly. Once the guards are alerted, her Aiden's secret outing will be exposed. Never mind whether people will misunderstand her and Aiden, but her identity will definitely be exposed. Soyeon softens her tone, asking the man's name. In the palace, a guard asks worriedly what happened to the emperor. The emperor's voice comes from inside the door, insisting he's fine. He leans weakly on the couch. Time and illness have made him increasingly haggard, and the symbols of power have grown dull. He's unwilling to decay like this. He still has too many ambitions unrealized, yet he can't even grip his cane steadily. Matthews sees this and speaks with a hint of lament. The trembling hands look very painful. The emperor calls weakly for Matthews. Seeing this, Matthews asks if they should advance the plan. The emperor readily agrees, telling him to find suitable items. A vicious glint flashes in the emperor's eyes. Anyone who obstructs him must be eliminated. Even if it's his own daughter, he absolutely won't show mercy. On the other side, Aiden looks utterly confused, demanding why Soyeon would trust that person. But Soyeon sees it clearly. As long as she can gain one more supporter, whether he betrays doesn't matter. Aiden is deeply moved. Cecilia has truly done many things she wouldn't have done before. Soyeon smiles in acknowledgement, laughing it off. She recalls asking the man's name again. He looks puzzled and doesn't speak. Soyeon sees through his concerns and introduces herself first as Clara. The man hesitates a moment, then gives his name, Thomas. Soyeon gets straight to the the point, directly pointing out the Empire's current ills and explaining the root of his hardships. Soyeon tells him to think carefully about who caused this situation. She asks if he really wants to make the wrong choice again for a life that keeps repeating. She tells him to think about the last festival, asking which side they should really stand on. The Stardust fragment detonation cannot truly quell the commoners' discontent, but if it were her, she would definitely formulate better policies than the Emperor. After all, she knows what will happen in the game and how everyone will act. Soyeon invites Thomas to gather forces. Afterward, come to the back courtyard of the palace to find her under the alias Clara. Aiden still has concerns. He feels Thomas's eyes reveal a thief's nature, but Soyeon doesn't care at all. As long as she becomes emperor, everyone will be her subjects. Even Aiden is the same. And so, today's mission is complete. One of Cecilia's outstanding performances, recruiting Thomas. Though the game had no construction project, stardust fragments, or fireworks, but she repeatedly savors the lines she spoke, feeling she's completely the story's protagonist. The more Soyeon thinks about it, the more smug she feels. She was so cool. Somewhat embarrassed, she clears her throat. She turns to Aiden, saying she's especially happy today. Full of a sense of achievement, Soyeon smiles and bids Aiden farewell. Aiden is still absorbed in the emotion from having his head patted just now. In the game's incognito visit event, Soyeon quietly adds her own little schemes. She wants to recruit commoners as informants, both gaining assistance and raising support, killing two birds with one stone. In the original plot, Thomas swore loyalty after learning she was the princess, but she recruited him before he knew. He can't possibly disobey. She secretly tosses him her purse. The follow-up is entrusted to Aiden. A few more days pass, and Soyeon gradually adapts to the busy routine of being a princess. She avoids Victor, who's preparing his engagement, and focuses on managing servants and maintaining noble relationships. Having tea with nobles to build friendships is a piece of cake for her. Victor is tied up by the youngest princess, unable to move. She takes the opportunity to meet regularly with Lucas to build affection while exchanging important intelligence. The more Soyeon looks, the more she thinks Lucas resembles Vivian. She wonders if all people who use magic are like this. Though she squeezes time to practice magic, she still needs a long time to become proficient. Creating stardust fragments, such advanced magic, is an impossible dream. She's eager to find shortcuts. She tries to chat with Lucas, asking what he's doing, but she's ignored. Soyeon mentions Victor being too quiet, wondering if he's too busy. Lucas says bluntly that's better for her, but Soyeon says it's boring. At that, Lucas tells her if she wants to fight, find her sworn knight. He doesn't want to get involved. She retorts she wouldn't do such crude things, secretly annoyed that Lucas always subtly attacks her with words. She emphasizes her concern that nobles will discover Lucas is avoiding her, exposing their fake lover status. Lucas confidently declares he only acts after observation and will never make mistakes. Soyeon feels Lucas is subtly mocking her for not reading situations well. She presses on asking what if something goes wrong. Lucas asks her to recall if he's ever disappointed her before. Soyeon thinks carefully and realizes Lucas truly hasn't disappointed her, but they should have gotten closer after the engagement party. Yet Lucas always maintains distance, leaving her confused. Soyeon knows the nobles don't know the truth about the contract. She must convince Lucas quickly. Lucas watches Soyeon, who comes frequently, suspecting she's not simply here for the engagement contract. Could she truly love him? Soyeon resolves to conquer Lucas, helping her perfectly achieve the Emperor plan. She must be known for having a deeper relationship than Victor. Her pride won't allow otherwise. They need to appear more intimate, like truly loving partners. Lucas reiterates the contract's core: mutual non-interference after marriage. Absolutely no concessions. Soyeon presses him about his post-marriage plans, inwardly cursing this game character is too stubborn. She stubbornly insists she knows the ending. Lucas will eventually yield, but reality shows no progress at all. She's dissatisfied that Lucas forbids any physical contact, finding such a romance too absurd. She clearly wants to cling to him 24 hours a day, but the princess's pride won't let her lower herself. After agonizing for a long time, Soyeon finally comes up with a compromise. She proposes a 1-month deadline. Whether there are people around or not, they must appear extremely intimate. She lies that she's afraid of spies. If they don't act the part even when alone, being discovered would be disastrous. Seeing Lucas seems somewhat swayed, Soyeon quickly throws out the bait of fewer meetings, but she laughs inwardly. It's all lies. She'll cling to Lucas even more frequently in the future. She grumbles it's all the contract clause's fault. Otherwise, she'd have beaten the game long ago. Lucas finally relents, saying he has one condition. Soyeon is ecstatic, asking what his condition is. When she hears no kissing, Soyeon freezes instantly. She hastily explains that by intimate, she only meant holding hands, light pats, and hugs. Just elementary schooler level contact. Lucas is puzzled. What's an elementary schooler? Soyeon defensively says she doesn't even like romance and absolutely won't cross the line. She emphasizes again the maximum is just hugs, basically just holding hands. Lucas becomes flustered and angry, telling her to leave immediately. Soyeon wants to say something more, but she's completely driven out of the room. Soyeon worries somewhat. Lucas should revise the contract, right? The Emperor feels their plan will take longer. His body grows weaker, barely sustained by willpower. He was born with a weak constitution, yet still managed to survive with this body. He has no robust physique, only exceptional magic and a clear mind. His thirst for power grows wildly. Even while relying on potent forbidden magic potions, he complains the preparation time is too long and seeks ways to shorten it. He repeatedly mutters the names Cecilia and Victor. He orders Matthews to closely watch those two children's movements. Victor feels utterly miserable. Shopping for dresses with Isabella is pure torture. The woman endlessly asks which one looks better, and vague responses won't cut it. Isabella insists he pick the most beautiful one. She wants to finish quickly and return to the palace, constantly urging Victor. He suppresses his impatience and praises the dress in her right hand. Isabella immediately brightens up and settles on it, but Victor's scalp tingles with irritation. Thanks to the acting skills he's developed during this time, he manages to endure all the annoyance. He spent 5 hours with her in the dress shop. This is already the third time choosing nearly identical styles. Isabella still hesitates, overwhelmed by too many beautiful dresses. Victor screams internally. Doesn't this woman ever get tired? Fortunately, she has to return to Valeria Empire in an hour. Finally, she makes her choice, the very style he recommended first. These 5 hours were completely meaningless. The two agree to prepare separately for the engagement and meet again on the ceremony day. Victor feigns affection, saying he'll miss her and write often. But Isabella insists letters can't compare to meeting in person. Victor is nearly driven mad by her theatrics. He lies about learning voice transmission magic. Despite claiming he can't bear to part, he hasn't even eaten dinner yet, insists on seeing her off. He says his heart is filled with emptiness because of this. Isabella is deeply moved. But Victor only feels the relief of liberation. Isabella is the 5th princess of Valeria Empire with the lowest status. Once the engagement is complete, her position will rise, and Victor will gain allied forces to suppress Cecilia. So the engagement must proceed as planned. After sending Isabella off, exhaustion hits him. More frustrating than dealing with Isabella is having no choice. Among Valeria Empire's many princesses, only Isabella approached him. Isabella openly stated she wanted to escape her situation and begged Victor to get engaged to her. The other princesses lack ambition. Only she dares to actively pursue what she wants. Although his popularity has dropped considerably due to the engagement, Valeria Empire is exceptionally attentive. Even though Cecilia's fiancé is the nobleman Lucas, he can't possibly compare to Valeria Empire. If Valeria Empire supports him, he might secure the Emperor's throne. However, Isabella's nagging gives him a headache. He needs to find a way to keep her quiet. Meanwhile, Eliana informs Soyeon about Victor's predicament with Isabella. She can't help feeling a bit sorry for him, but she'd rather watch him panic and jump in frustration. Since Victor dared to incite people to attack her guards, she must settle this score. As a princess maintaining dignity, she's unwilling to use underhanded methods for revenge. After much thought, she decides to target Duke Grayson, Victor's ally, first. Duke Grayson colludes with Victor. Dealing with him will send a warning. Eliana analyzes that Victor only has Duke Grayson as noble support, since his relationship with Count Andre is merely average. Soyeon secretly feels smug. Her fans are far more reliable than Victor's allies. She's lost in planning her revenge, when Eliana's call pulls her back to reality. Eliana notices she's been spacing out frequently and can't help asking. This isn't like the Cecilia she knows. Soyeon feels a bit guilty. She's not as smart as Cecilia, but Eliana suddenly changes tone. Relieved, she seems fine. Hearing this, Soyeon doesn't quite understand what she means. Eliana explains her face now looks full of life. This remark stirs Soyeon's curiosity. She can't help asking if she used to be so gloomy. Eliana nods, saying the Emperor often tormented her, so she always had a sullen face. She asks when this was. Eliana thinks and says it was before the Starlight Festival. Soyeon immediately understands. Wasn't that before she transmigrated? Could the poisoning have been the Emperor's doing? She previously suspected the Emperor and the Prince, but though Victor is petty, he lacks initiative. Eliana shows anxiety. She worries about her father's return, fearing he won't bring results satisfactory to the Emperor. Soyeon learns Eliana comes from the House of Montfort, carrying the family mission. House of Montfort must complete food trade missions through aggressive negotiations. This might be the perfect opportunity to recruit allies. She immediately decides to host a tea party, inviting noble ladies to attend. Eliana is both surprised and delighted. This is Soyeon taking initiative for the first time in ages. She plans to hold it this week. At the tea party, she'll win hearts and screen for useful support. She doesn't care if she seems like a villainess as long as she achieves her goal. She lets Eliana and Rosalind decide on the tea, choosing whatever they want to drink. The key is premium desserts. These are crucial for winning over noble ladies. Ella confidently says, there's no problem if Darien prepares the desserts. Hearing Darien's name, Soyeon is instantly shocked. He's a master in the dessert world. She read Darien's cookbooks in the library and knows how exceptional his desserts are. Darien only provides desserts to the palace. She never expected Ella to know him. Ella explains she's quite close to Darien and can easily ask him to help. Soyeon is both surprised and delighted, immediately entrusting all dessert preparations to Ella. This is undoubtedly an important guarantee for the tea party's success. Ella instantly becomes excited and confidently accepts. The first stage of making Victor suffer is hosting a small tea party for her fans. Though small in scale, the quality is exceptional. Soyeon's tea party is a complete success, and Ella's network is astonishing. She actually invites the legendary Darien, celebration, allowing guests to taste the delicacies from the cookbooks. The apple pie that melts in the mouth makes guests exclaim this is the most delicious thing they've ever eaten. Soyeon secretly locks onto her first target, Duke Grayson. She's certain that guy has already sided with Victor and must be removed. She tastes a bite and is amazed. It's absolutely delicious. Seeing the tea party's success, Ella and Darian show satisfied smiles. As the tea party atmosphere intensifies, Soyeon stands up and solemnly thanks everyone present, highlighting the tea party's focus. She slowly shares her standard for an emperor. An emperor should be the empire's role model, embodying all virtues and morals. The foremost duty is protecting citizens' welfare. This is an unshakable baseline. Leaders who don't consider others will ultimately be destroyed by their own arrogance. She firmly asks if everyone agrees. Soyeon states directly that as Cecilia, she's completely qualified to sit on the emperor's throne. She sincerely asks everyone to love her more and support her more firmly than now, and she declares powerfully that she will become the empire's emperor. Regarding outside rumors about her giving up the throne, she immediately refutes them head-on. She sincerely hopes to receive everyone's unconditional support and asks them to choose her side. She understands everyone's hesitation and allows them to freely choose whether to stay, but she firmly believes those who truly love and cherish her will stand firm. Her heart stirs slightly. This scene is like an idol suddenly announcing a presidential run. She thoughtfully says there's no need to answer immediately, giving everyone ample time to consider. Lady Diana is first to speak, saying she's always only liked the princess, though she doesn't know if she can help much. She's willing to give her all. Soyeon looks at Diana's sincere face, warmth flooding her heart. Then two more people speak up, all loyal fans of the princess. They all express willingness to support her. But even so, when the tea party ends, only 4 people remain. Ella worriedly informs Soyeon that everyone has left. But Soyeon doesn't mind. She understands everyone's concerns. At least 4 people are willing to believe in her. These 4 are all daughters of Count families, though their family backgrounds don't match Duke Grayson's. Their loyalty and support move her. She gratefully thanks them. And the revenge plan against Victor quietly enters its second stage. A few days before the tea party, Lucas follows Cecilia's instructions and heads to the Empire's border to wait. Cecilia repeatedly reminds him to just receive what Montfort delivers. Lucas goes as agreed and waits for a long time. Felix is full of doubt about why they're waiting in this desolate place. Lucas explains he heard a merchant group would pass through. He still finds it baffling. Just as he waits restlessly, unusual movement appears in the distance. It's exactly the person Cecilia mentioned who can balance Duke Grayson. The other party recognizes Lucas first, excitedly mentioning how Lucas saved his daughter. He admits he's always been grateful for this kindness, but hasn't known how to repay it. When he sent gifts, they were refused, and dinner invitations were also declined. Lucas mildly says there's no need to worry about it. Then he indicates the items the princess entrusted on the carriage, asking if the quantity is sufficient and requesting long-term trade. He tells him to report honestly to the emperor. Seeing the quantity of items, the other party is extremely surprised. Felix watches from afar, puzzled about what they're discussing. Finally, the important day arrives when the Montfort merchant group enters the palace. Soyeon worries inwardly, hoping Lucas and Felix are going smoothly. In the Great Hall, everyone gathers for the trade results presentation. The emperor speaks up, stating that he cares more about final results than process. His gaze falls on Duke Montfort, ordering him to report on the trade situation. Duke Montfort responds respectfully, then states his trade with the northern country went smoothly, and he became a long-term Stardust Fragment customer. At these words, the entire hall erupts. Stardust Fragments aren't even enough for Eldoria Empire itself. How could they supply long-term externally? Mages can't produce unlimited amounts all year. During the Magic Stone charging period, production drops sharply. Hearing this, the emperor asks what method he used. Duke Montfort knows deeply that past Stardust Fragments were single-use and couldn't be reused. As he finishes speaking, he takes out a small box, saying that just by placing Stardust Fragments in this box, they can be reused. And he publicly announces that this miraculous box is Princess Cecilia's invention. The word princess shocks everyone, and gazes turn to Soyeon. Soyeon feels smug. This is equivalent to publicly declaring to everyone that Montfort stands on her side. A slight smile curves her lips as she thinks to herself, Victor, just wait. The good show is only beginning. Doubting voices still ring in her ears. Everyone's shock is hard to calm. They can't believe this is Cecilia's invention. Someone mutters whether the princess used forbidden magic. Immediately someone speaks up to stop them from mentioning forbidden magic. Soyeon's heart churns with mixed feelings. She's really still not used to being the center of attention. The emperor, who has remained silent, calls out Cecilia's name, telling her to explain the situation to everyone. She calmly begins. The preservation liquid has nothing to do with magic, much less forbidden magic. It's made from substances naturally produced by the world. The game Please Be the Princess has simple settings. This is just an accidentally discovered invention. Soyeon states directly that the raw material is a substance everyone knows, deliberately keeping them in suspense. Watching everyone's bewildered expressions, she secretly takes pride in her protagonist's halo. She emphasizes again that she used no magic, only matter from living beings around them. She states frankly that stardust fragments should be used to their full potential. Leaving them idle is wasteful. Depreciated stardust fragments might as well serve as fire starters in emergencies. The characteristic of not needing storage makes their value skyrocket. She changes tone, announcing this is the miraculous liquid that regenerates stardust fragments. Everyone can't contain their urgency, wanting to know what it is. When she reveals its monster fluid, the entire hall's breathing stops. She explains that if you soak and store stardust fragments at low temperature, fragments that melted and disappeared from overuse, or those that can no longer be used, can absorb energy and regenerate. Recalling when she held Vivian's created stardust fragments in Lucas's lab, casually placing them next to monsters, the fragments kept increasing as if regenerating. At first she thought she saw wrong. Only after repeated confirmation did she dare believe it. Thanks to Lucas and Vivian's assistance, this achievement exists. Someone urgently asks if they can have endless stardust fragments. Soyeon clarifies it's not permanent. The fluid's energy is limited. Supplementing nutrition can extend preservation. 3 times is optimal. She informs them that stardust fragment preservation has been tested and results are reliable. The scene buzzes with activity. Applause thunders again. Everyone praises the princess as remarkable. Someone immediately expresses wanting to invest in the Montfort family merchant group. Cheers rise one after another. Shouts of "Long live the princess" are deafening. Soyeon secretly rejoices. The plan is going more smoothly than expected. She mocks Victor in her heart. He must be anxious now. She can't help laughing secretly. But Lucas suddenly warns about expression management. She can't expose her real emotions. Soyeon can only suppress her laughter, saying she'll maintain the princess's dignity. The emperor signals everyone to quiet down, praising her for accomplishing something remarkable. Soyeon politely thanks him, but the emperor asks how to solve insufficient quantity. She states they must manufacture more preservation liquid and stardust fragments to balance supply and demand. She suggests letting alchemists and mages work together. The emperor agrees. Soyeon seizes the opportunity to propose collecting stardust fragments from all citizens. She explains they must preserve new products to efficiently calculate surplus. She worries collection will delay export and preservation, which isn't worth it. The core value of stardust fragments is exchanging them for rare minerals to make weapons. She's already made a contract with Duke Montfort, just waiting for delivery. The emperor quietly reflects that the princess's ability to handle matters grows stronger. He immediately decides on the spot to put her fully in charge. Soyeon is wildly happy inside. Finally, she can fully deploy her abilities, though she'll probably be monitored. Everyone discusses amongst themselves, surprised it's really entrusted to the princess. Someone envies her receiving this important responsibility. Others worry for the prince about what he should do. Victor can't figure out how she thought of it. Before long, the entire empire will know of Cecilia's great invention. Duke Montfort bows and excuses himself. Now it's Duke Grayson's turn to report. The Duke clears his throat, preparing to discuss last time's military exercise results. But the scene remains noisy, discussing Cecilia's invention. Everyone hotly debates the Stardust Fragment plan, completely ignoring the Duke. The Duke awkwardly finishes his report, cold sweat dripping down his face. Soyeon watches Victor's gloomy expression, her heart sinking. She forgot Victor's true nature. Game plot floods her mind. His ruthlessness makes her involuntarily shudder. Whenever he gets angry, he takes palace maids of low status whose tongues have been cut and brings them away. Then he beats them half to death. Sometimes to keep them quiet, he might even kill them. Soyeon secretly regrets. She should have prepared herself long ago. But even with preparation, it can't change anything. She despises herself, knowing the plot yet only able to watch. Thinking of possibly being questioned in the future, she has no words. Even if she bears condemnation, she must ascend to the throne. Without ascending, everything might become bubbles. Not only might she be harmed, but people around her won't escape disaster either. Lucas sees her emotions fluctuating, teasing that she's been laughing and worrying lately, really busy. Soyeon forces a smile, asking if her performance is that obvious. Lucas says directly that now is only the beginning of the struggle. He asks if she's thinking of more powerful methods to suppress the prince. Soyeon frankly admits she's determined to beat Victor, but even with the best methods, she knows Stardust Fragment popularization takes time. She can't be careless, so she must prepare in advance. The long winter will come soon. Lucas says directly she's particularly serious today. Soyeon protests, asking if she's not usually serious. He shakes his head, saying she's usually always smiling, like she's lost her soul. Soyeon didn't expect this is how she appears. She shakes her head, unwilling to think more. She still has confidence she can overcome all difficulties. She smiles and suggests Lucas go with her to see Duke Montfort. Duke Montfort kowtows to thank Soyeon. Soyeon quickly tells him to raise his head, but he states frankly that without Soyeon, he couldn't have completed the task at the announcement. Soyeon recalls she once confessed her ultimate goal to Duke Montfort. He mentions this path is destined to be full of thorns. His daughter Isabella says Soyeon has been looking worried lately. He fears Soyeon bears too much pressure. But seeing Soyeon so full of vitality in person, he's completely relieved. Soyeon wonders if what Isabella said about her being melancholy is true. It seems palace life made Cecilia very hard. She smiles and makes her request, hoping the Duke will help her path go more smoothly. The Duke agrees without hesitation, telling her to give orders freely and he won't refuse. Soyeon knows Cecilia visited the Duke's house many times, but still worries whether he'll betray her. As time slowly passes, Soyeon's magical progress becomes increasingly obvious. Now she can make objects float and write words using magic. These are results of repeated training. She found the trick. Investing emotion makes everything twice as effective. She secretly wonders if burning hatred toward Victor would work even better. Soyeon confirms with Vivian whether she can pass the telekinesis subject. Vivian says she's already seen her characteristics. Now she can learn magic. Soyeon is full of doubt. Vivian explains everyone has their own unique inherent magic characteristics. Characteristic magic requires more concentration than telekinesis magic. It's influenced by personality and preferences, varying from person to person. Vivian gives an example. Lucas's characteristic is fire magic, opposite to his personality. Soyeon secretly feels fortunate to have so many capable assistants around her. She can't help fantasizing. How great would it be if she could have fire, water, or ice abilities? Vivian tells her to try them one by one and find what suits her best. Soyeon is instantly confused. Does she have to repeat the previous basic tests? Vivian confirms with a smile, telling her to use the feeling of telekinesis to control objects and find what suits her. She also comforts her that there are no bugs this time. It's much simpler than previous tests. Soyeon inwardly wails. When will this hellish basic course end? But thinking again, telekinesis is already a piece of cake for her. She immediately regains confidence, but she can't help sneaking peeks at Aiden and Pink Fluffy's intimate interactions. This little pig was created from his hair. No wonder they're so close. Vivian reminds her in time, telling Soyeon to quickly focus and put effort into magic practice. Meanwhile, the welfare project begins wrapping up. To increase stardust fragments, besides constantly working hard, she also practices magic. She also distributes test items to nobles supporting her. Nobles from Victor's camp see this and also start showing goodwill. Soyeon is grateful she told her fans at the previous tea party and had them help contact mages and alchemists. She dares not be careless, fearing Victor has hidden weapons. After all, Victor's military power is stronger. In political struggles, military force is often the most effective bargaining chip, but she hopes everything can be completed before winter. Lucas can't help complaining that's because she's not doing it, so she speaks so easily. She knows deeply that monster fluid extraction is complex, and subsequent processing is even more tedious. It must be handled with magic to prevent fusion with forbidden magic. Stardust fragments must also be added. Soyeon decides to handle it personally, but Lucas questions her fear of bugs. She quickly explains she only dislikes them. She emphasizes monsters and bugs are different. Even if there are insect-shaped monsters, she's not afraid, thinking of all citizens being able to spend a warm winter. Soyeon is full of motivation. She tried fire magic but has no talent for it. She can't help asking what special skill magic suits her. Lucas, annoyed, says it's magic that makes her quietly disappear. Just then, Nova suddenly appears. Unexpectedly, Lucas's spirit familiar doesn't reject her. Nova keeps signaling her to follow. Soyeon is somewhat surprised. She still follows it out the door. Coming out, she's shocked by the beautiful scenery before her, so it wanted to bring her to see this. Lucas sees through it, determining Soyeon has the qualifications to become a mage. Soyeon looks at the beautiful scenery before her, recalling times she stargazed with friends before. Lucas wonders if she has other friends. Realizing she said something wrong, she quickly laughs it off to cover up. Rarely stealing leisure from busy times, Soyeon temporarily sets aside worries to enjoy a moment of peace. She can't help wondering why exactly she transmigrated to this world. What was that voice she heard before? Lucas asks again the reason for becoming emperor. After signing the contract previously, he didn't see her ambition. But now what exactly makes her urgently want to become emperor? She hesitates, not knowing how to answer. Should she tell him she's not Cecilia but a person from another world? Finally, she only says she has reasons she must accomplish. Occupying Cecilia's body, she wants to bring her back to the right path, and she promises to reveal all truths after ascending. Compared to his own confusion, Lucas admires Soyeon's firm confidence more. He never knows when he can find his sister. Though Soyeon's words are simple, they make Lucas feel unprecedented reality. Just as she's about to step away, Lucas grabs her hand. He tells her to wait before leaving. Lucas suddenly realizes he's holding Soyeon's hand. His face flushes bright red as he quickly lets go. In this awkward moment, a shooting star suddenly streaks across the night sky. Soyeon is delighted, quickly clasping her hands together to make a wish. Lucas asks why in confusion. She suddenly remembers this is another world, pondering how to explain. Seeing the shooting star about to disappear, she has no time to answer him. She decides to make her wish first. She prays to become emperor. No matter how hard it is, she doesn't want to go back. After finishing her wish, she remembers she left out Lucas. She hopes to successfully romance Lucas and complete the main storyline. She even greedily hopes to collect Aiden too, completing all romance tasks. But from the corner of her eye, she catches Lucas's smile. This makes her heart skip a beat, so the usually cold Lucas can smile too. Soyeon instantly reacts, deciding he's mocking her wish-making. She made her wish so seriously, yet he's laughing at her. Even though Lucas denies it, she's still upset and unwilling to stay longer. No matter how Lucas calls from behind, she still leaves without looking back. Soyeon remembers it was summer when she transmigrated. Summer passes to autumn. Cool breezes disperse the heat. Soyeon's welfare facilities gradually take shape. She thanks everyone for their hard work, but Ella says there's no need to be polite. This is what they should do. The next second, she announces she'll raise their salaries. All three's eyes instantly light up. Stardust fragment output has considerable profits. She decides to share with them. Without them, none of this could be done. All three are overwhelmed with favor, immediately kowtowing and shouting, "Long live the princess." Seeing this, Soyeon quickly signals them to rise and calm down. In this joyful atmosphere, Aiden's figure suddenly appears. His expression is somewhat unnatural, saying he has important matters to report to Soyeon. Soyeon dismisses the three, asking if it's about the project. Aiden first reports on project progress, saying it's already 80% complete. Thanks to materials supported by the Montfort Merchant Group, supplies have been very smooth. Hearing this, Soyeon is very satisfied. He then mentions that little thief worker from before. He doesn't know if Soyeon convinced him, but he no longer slanders the princess. Soyeon reacts. It's that person called Thomas. She once persuaded him when leaving the palace. Then he mentions Victor's engagement plan. According to reports, the engagement will be held in winter or early spring. Valeria Empire is well prepared. This means Isabella will frequently enter and exit the palace. Thinking of having to see them often, she feels utterly annoyed. Her gaze sweeps over Aiden. She suddenly notices he's been covering his face. Strong curiosity drives her. She can't help pressing for the reason. Aiden stammers, not daring to say it's because being alone with her makes him inexplicably shy. Soyeon doesn't believe it at all, thinking he's injured or being bullied. She urgently wants to check. Before Aiden can stop her, she already reaches out to remove his hand covering his face. What meets her eyes is Aiden's flushed face, like he has a high fever. Soyeon immediately becomes nervous, pulling him to take his temperature. Her foot suddenly slips. She accidentally twists her ankle. Her body falls forward uncontrollably, falling straight into Aiden's arms. Aiden immediately panics and straightens her up, pushing her away. Then he can't suppress his wildly beating heart, forcing himself to ask if she's okay. At this moment, she suddenly realizes, could Aiden have fallen for her? This realization shocks her greatly. This is too fast, but she can't ask him based on speculation. She recalls the game plot. Aiden's confession was supposed to come after developing things with Lucas. Soyeon falls into conflict. Objectively speaking, she doesn't dislike either Lucas or Aiden. Lucas is her fiancé and the main character. Following him, she can not only become emperor but also see bonus content. Finally, she makes up her mind to implement polyandry. She wonders inwardly if there's such a thing as polyandry. She needs to search for it. Suddenly, Aiden slaps his own face. Soyeon immediately worries and stops him, demanding to know what he's doing. Aiden's eyes contain tears, saying he must pull himself together. But watching Aiden's shy yet sincere appearance, she can't bring herself to give up either one. Her gaze becomes determined, resolving to find a way for polyandry. Just then, knocking sounds from the door. Duke Montfort asks if he can come in. Soyeon immediately happily tells him to enter. The Duke politely enters, lowering his head saying, "Pardon the intrusion." Looking up, he catches Aiden silently sobbing. Duke Montfort thinks he's interrupting them and turns to leave. Soyeon urgently stops him, her tone urgent as she states nothing happened between them. After sitting down, he reports on work progress, mentioning stardust fragments have played a major role in import and export. However, before winter, demand for stardust fragments will be even higher. This catches Soyeon off guard. Duke Montfort says it's unreasonable demand spawned by soaring mineral prices. The troubled Soyeon steels herself and promises a solution within 3 days. Even the Duke is shocked by this speed, praising her as worthy of being the person who created the stardust fragment box. After all, the princess is his benefactor. The Duke chooses to believe and happily leaves to await news. Before leaving, he specifically calls out to Aiden. He shouts at Aiden that where there's a will, there's a way. Aiden awkwardly scratches his head, explaining the Duke seems to have misunderstood. Soyeon sighs helplessly, complaining it's all because of Aiden's sobbing that caused this misunderstanding. At this moment, she no longer has the mind to struggle over choosing who. Magical progress is key. She must concentrate her energy here. Only by mastering special skill magic can she create boxes that suppress monsters. But she still can't master it, so Vivian has shouldered everything. But this matter started because of her. It should be solved by her. Having made up her mind, Soyeon tells Vivian to throw things at her. Even though Vivian tells her the probability of awakening special skills in critical moments is extremely low, she's unwilling to give up. Her face firm, she tells Vivian she's ready. Just throw them. Vivian can't help marveling that she's completely opposite to the original Cecilia's personality. She finds it miraculous. Mud strikes her. Soyeon endures the discomfort, but there's no magical reaction. Vivian worries and asks if she can continue. Soyeon forces herself up, telling her to continue, but she's still knocked down the same way. After 2 attempts, Vivian is certain she's absolutely not Earth attribute constitution. Next comes fire attribute testing. Hearing this, Soyeon feels a bit scared. When flames strike, the heat is unbearable. She cries out repeatedly from being burned. Vivian advises that she said long ago she can't endure this, asking if she needs rest. Even though her brow furrows from pain, Soyeon still stubbornly refuses rest. She grits her teeth, insisting on trying until success. Vivian has no choice but to do as she says. When trying again, Soyeon again reaches out to block. She somewhat fearfully closes her eyes. Suddenly, a cool sensation hits her. She unexpectedly summons clear water. Her special skill is actually water. She excitedly shouts she succeeded. Even Vivian can't help praising praising her, feeling sorry for her hardship. This sudden progress surprises even herself. Vivian looks at Soyeon with relief, marveling she realized it faster than expected. She's truly amazing. On the other side, Victor is buying common people with gifts. Red silk, shell decorations, and other items make citizens cheer long live, but his heart is full of doubt. There are too many suspicious things about Cecilia lately. Someone who used to be indifferent to the throne has now become unusually active. He must think of countermeasures. Today he sent out 10 carts of gifts. He's certain he can get corresponding returns. Within Valeria Empire, Isabella sends 10 carts of gifts under the pretext of missing her fiancé. She has no idea what these gifts are being used for. She pretends affection, crying about missing her fiancé. Her acting is flawless. Her subordinate understands her, flattering that the return gifts will certainly be more. Isabella sighs, this cost a huge price. She praises that this prince is indeed useful. After all, he really has a lot of money. Victor's room is much more spacious than hers. His appearance is acceptable. The maid wonders if appearance isn't important, but Isabella gets goosebumps thinking of having to interact with ugly people. The maid understands, praising her acting skills. Isabella has sides unknown to others. Victor readily agreed to the engagement, exactly matching her calculations. The only thing giving her a headache is Victor's troublesome sister. The little girl is quite arrogant, always getting in her way. She previously shot and injured her bird as a warning, but it had no effect whatsoever. Isabella secretly resolves that after he becomes crown prince and they marry, she must first eliminate this trouble. After he ascends the throne, she'll replace him and drive him down. By then, Eldoria Empire will completely belong to her. She no longer wants to be the powerless youngest. This is Isabella's true intention. Soyeon successfully fulfills the Duke's needs before winter arrives. Even more delightfully, she successfully makes Aiden fall for her. After learning the plan succeeded, Duke Montfort sheds tears and performs a grand bow of thanks to her. This makes Soyeon completely certain he's fully on her side. Aiden informs her that in the village outside the palace, Prince Victor is actually sending Valeria Empire items to win over citizens. Soyeon curls her lip disdainfully, thinking inwardly this is just his useless struggle from anxiety. After all, under her strong Stardust Fragment offensive, Victor's little methods aren't nearly enough. Though everything goes smoothly, one difficult problem troubles Soyeon endlessly. Should she choose Aiden or Lucas? Regarding precedent for polyandry, she seriously consulted all classics, but the result greatly disappoints her. Forget polyandry. There isn't even a princess becoming emperor. This is clearly a game about a princess ascending the throne. The production team went too far. Though becoming emperor is the primary goal, Lucas and Aiden are also very important to her. Unable to choose an answer, she decides to set it aside first. At this moment, Rosalind thoughtfully asks if she wants tea. Soyeon nods. She can't help sighing, the weather has really gotten cold. Rosalind carefully brings a cup of hot tea. Soyeon takes the hot tea and sips. Just as she's about to temporarily set aside worries, an announcement suddenly comes from outside the door. Ella reports in panic that Prince Victor has come to visit. Soyeon's heart immediately tightens. He's absolutely not here for a simple greeting. She soon calms down, instructing to let Victor in. She wants to see what tricks he's playing. She asks guardedly about the purpose of his visit. Victor makes excuses, stating he has important matters to discuss with her, and he demands everyone present leave. Though Soyeon is full of doubt, she still tells Ella and others to temporarily withdraw. Only 2 people remain in the room. Victor still emphasizes he's only here to reminisce. Soyeon can't help wondering if he took the wrong medicine. He says Soyeon used to always play in the courtyard as a child. She was a cute little girl. Back then, when riding a pony, she accidentally injured her knee. Soyeon keenly senses something wrong, forcing Calm to demand what exactly he wants to say. Victor looks at her, his lips curving into a smile, saying he often thinks of her as a child. He thought after going through an impolite rebellious phase, she'd return to her former innocent self. His tone suddenly intensifies. He demands to know exactly who Soyeon is. Soyeon's heart tightens. She loudly emphasizes she is Cecilia. Hearing this, Victor questions why Soyeon didn't correct him about the injury location. Back then, Cecilia injured her shoulder. Next, Victor brings up the notebook he stole. He says he thought it was an important item. Turns out it's all incomprehensible doodles, and it's missing something that should be there, a signature. No matter what item, Cecilia would sign with a special font.